All right, Rick, we're live.
We're live.
You excited for this this edition?
Yeah, we're going to teach some new YouTubers how to make your channel big, like the big boys.
How to build your channel.
How to build your channel.
Hugo, is this where the party's at? Yes, it is, sir. Welcome, Hugo. I hope I see you at in March when I'm down there. All right, we have 7 people. We'll give it a minute.
7 people.
Diamond Gems.
How much do you have to pay them? How much is that? Somebody, what's it cost nowadays to get viewers?
I don't know. I think you could buy some Russian bots. I'm sure. I know you used to be able to. I'm sure you still can. So, Rick and I, we've been on YouTube for how long have you been on? Do you know?
I think 6 years.
Yeah, I've been something around 6 years. I think we started around the same time.
I think you're a few months before. Yeah, around the same time, I think, actually.
I think so, because I remember when I hit 1,000 subs, you were busting my chops because you were mad that I hit it before you. And you hit it like a month after me or a couple weeks after me.
And you just smoked me now because
So anyway, we being on here all this time, we certainly have seen a lot of channels come and go, and people voted into the Hall of Fame and then they left, and we've seen what works, what doesn't work, as far as if you want to actually build a channel and grow your channel. Rick, I know you have some thoughts on this and some experiences. When you what do you do to get like your videos to get the most views? What are the common themes there?
Well, if you do anything top something, top 10, top 50, top 5, whatever it is, people seem to enjoy. I don't know if it's YouTube that plugs into something like that when you put down on your title that, but any of those work.
Oh, so wait, I have to interrupt you for 1 second. Splendid Sports. Hey, Adam, your kids need to go to bed. Adam, jump on if you can. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is whenever I mention, auction house pickup, card show, national pickup, any kind of pickup at a card show, if I put top 10 this, my favorite that, I never do, but I don't do this, but most expensive card or something would probably work. It's mostly in the title, I think.
It's funny because you see some of the big channels, and they'll say the top 10 selling sports cards this month or top 25 or whatever, and they'll get tons and tons of views. But then you have other channels that try to do that, and they don't seem to gain any traction whatsoever. Showing those prices. So,
but I think my number one is probably like 6,000 or 7,000. And when I look at you get those things once a month from YouTube. What's the most watched videos of you? It's always I showed the Ty Cobb with the pinhole, and it's a 3.
Yeah,
and it should be a 1. And I don't know what the title was, but what is PSA thinking, or what's, that type of thing. And people still just jump on those types of things where you complain about grading or something's wrong.
Complaining gets a lot of views. And Adam said rant. And I know my rant videos get, they're up there amongst the most views. And I seem to get the most subs when I do a rant.
Yeah, I don't do too many rant videos. If you just put rant.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this, because I want people to walk away from here with some really solid ideas of what to do. So first and foremost, and I think we're in agreement on this, if you want to have a big channel, do not show cards. Am I right?
Yep. No cards.
None of the biggest channels show cards. See, what we're doing is we're taking lessons from the biggest YouTube channels, and we're gonna talk about them. So number one, don't show cards.
And if you mention cards, that's a bonus. If you mention
Yeah, you could talk about cards,
you
but
can
don't
talk
show
about
them.
cards. That's a bonus. You might get some extra views if you actually talk about cards.
Yeah, and you mean you don't want to do what we do? We don't have any subs.
Yeah,
So
and then if you're gonna show cards, don't show your cards. Show other people's cards or on the internet, those cards, and put it up
and
somewhere on the screen, so you get some views that way.
And you want to zoom in and really critique them.
Yes.
And explain why they didn't get a 10.
Why didn't get a 10?
Yeah.
Raw cards are not going to work. Ungraded cards are not.
Oh, no. No, they'll turn the channel
I don't
right
know.
away.
Has a big channel ever showed a ungraded card?
I don't think so. The only time you want to show an ungraded card is if you're about to send it in. You want to critique it, guess the grade. People like to watch that.
And you know darn well, oh, I didn't look. I didn't see what the grades were. Come on. Of course you did. And then they give you the old, oh my gosh, man, I can't believe it.
PSA screwed me.
The PSA screwed me. Well, they probably screwed you 2 weeks ago when you looked at the results.
Right. I find it very hard to believe that nobody looks at those.
I know. Not that I don't never have any reveals, but of course, the few times I have, that's the first thing I do when it pops on my email from PSA or SGC or whatever. That's the first thing I do is look at the grades.
Peacemaker cards, that was next on my list. You gotta have the O face, like some sensationalized O face thumbnail. And you see all the big channels use the O face. That's like given. And what goes along with that is you got to put high dollar amounts in the title and the thumbnail too. So, I spent $50,000 in 2 hours at this card show. That's a real good advice.
Exactly.
Hobby news seems to be popular as long as it's negative. Well, it doesn't have to be negative, but negative gets more views, right?
Yeah. Or even grandma found my cards in an attic somewhere, or somebody found this, or
you won't believe what I found in my grandma's basement or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then they and then they copy everyone else, so if one person mentions it, the next 10 channels are going to mention it. 10 big channels are going to also mention the same topic or the same story. So
oh yeah, you got to copy other people.
Other people
and beat the topic to death.
Beat it to death.
Yeah. And Adam here, if you really want to kill your channel, talk about football or basketball cards. And that's very true, except for modern basketball. That seems to be hot now. But you definitely don't want to talk about hockey cards. You'll never get any views.
Yeah.
So I thought we would do an extra. Another very important one is to go to Walmart and Target and video the shelves. All the big channels do that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Now, I thought it would be a fun exercise. I did it. I just searched sports cards, and we can actually go through and see what the algorithm gives us when we search sports cards, right? And see what YouTube likes to show people. So here we go. That's sponsored, so we'll skip over that. Storage unit, 46,000 views. 58,000 views for a jumbo box.
Wow.
A rigged hot box. Now that got 16,000 views. 10,000 views. Top 80 rookie sports cards recently sold.
Yeah, if you put top something, you're going to get views.
Sports Cards 101, sports card investing and collecting for beginners. Everything you need to know. Everything you need to. How long is that video? 1 hour and 20 minutes. And everything you need to know. Here's another Sports Locker. 850,000 views, Rick. Okay, here we have a sensationalized face. 59,000 views. I spent $40,000 on sports cards at the Chicago Card Show. Okay, so this meets a few things. Number one, you have the sensationalized face. Number two, you have a large dollar amount in the title.
Then you have the Chicago show there. It's a show.
Yeah. And cash out.
Cash out.
Talking money. And you got some slabbed cards there.
Of course, they're not his cards, but they're slab cards.
Somebody opened 10 Topps Chrome retail blaster boxes. 71,000 views. 71,000 to watch him open these.
And if you mention, hey, I got screwed opening up this box, people are going to watch.
Yeah, but this is the stuff that sells. This is the stuff people want to watch. Finding sports cards to flip in the $1 box. 58,000 views. My God, Lou Rock could make a fortune. He could make a fortune with all the dollar boxes he goes through. Top 20. All right, he got 10 grand. I thought he got more views. I've seen him. Can we profit buying retail sports cards? Here we go. This is something else that I mentioned. Walmart. Go to Walmart and Target. 87,000 views. PSA graded my... Oh, that's one I forgot, Rick. You got to talk about PSA and show your reveals. 42,000. Not just reveals, but you have to critique every reason why it didn't get a 10.
Exactly.
Or be pissed off if it didn't. 154,000 views. We spent 25,000 in 2 hours. See, that's something I brought up earlier.
Yeah, show a price tag and an amount, huh?
Yeah.
Even if it's not true.
These same people keep coming up over and over again. 21,000 views for that one. All right.
Oh, there you are. Look at you come up.
Oh, I did come up. That's unusual. I never come up in this when I search this. A card room project. Are 80 cards worth grading? Oh, I thought that said 10,000. That's my man Billy Ballgame. All right. You know what? We have a few old school collectors popping up here. 138,000 views. The craziest 10,000 box ever. Insane one of ones.
And nothing's vintage. You see that? Nothing is vintage. So we're screwed.
Yeah, we have to add that. Let me add that to the list. Don't show vintage.
Vintage. Oh, there's a number one guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much dominated by Jeff Wilson. Oh, here you go. There's a great sensationalized face. I bought over 100,000 in sports cards for my biggest haul ever. 53,000 views.
Sure he did.
Oh, here's 1.6 million views. What's inside a massive sports card collection? Good for him. This guy's trying to flip sports cards at shows in North Carolina. 19,000 views. There we go. Some familiar faces.
Hey, there you go.
All right. Let me take this off. Where are other guests, Rick? Are they blowing us off? All right, guys. Hey, anything you guys want to talk about? Put a question in there.
Well, I'll be let me say, when I first started my channel, you got to have somebody to kind of, talk about your channel. So I showed a video to Mike, baseball collector. said, "Hey, what do you think?" And he says, "Yeah, put it up there, and my next video, I'll give you a little props." And I got I don't know, 30 new subs, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, I would comment on people's videos. You have to comment on people's videos. So when John makes a video, for instance, or he's a newer channel, I'm going to throw a comment in there. Hey, good job or whatever. And then they're going to sub back to me. So when I first started out, I would comment in a lot of people's videos, and then also respond back when they comment on my videos.
Yeah, for us collector channels, I think I mentioned, like, we don't edit, most of us. But that's like a grassroots guerrilla
Yeah, well,
marketing
I mean, you
kind
have
of
to
thing.
start somewhere, right? You have to
Yeah,
start
so
somewhere.
commenting on other people's videos. I mean, that's how most of us are on here to meet other collectors and network and meet the community. And that's something that I did because I didn't know anybody when I first started. And once people started to shout me out, and I noticed there was a community on here, I would go out of my way to try to watch everybody's videos, to try to comment on them,
Yeah,
try
and
to get to know what their collection was like, sub them. And what you're saying, a lot of times they sub you back.
and they sub you back, and then I always comment or I return to, if somebody comments, I'm going to put something. Hey, thanks for, even if it's as simple as thanks for watching, that I actually read the thing and paying attention, and I get plenty of people that actually comment. I get maybe average of probably 30 people, 40 people. So I think you need to, you got to do a little work, even it's fun work, but you got to do a little work too.
Yeah, and Orlando's right. I mean, this is what I just said is, we're on here mostly to meet fellow collectors, get involved with the community. I mean, when you go to the national, how much more special is it when you know everybody or you're there with a large group of people and you're running into all kind of other YouTubers, and we have the YouTube cocktail party. But at the same time, if you're stuck at 10 subscribers, you just feel like you're talking to the wind. I mean, that's no fun because even if you're at 100 subs and you're stuck there, you're not meeting new people. If you were meeting new people, you'd be getting more subs, right?
Well,
it's like Melissa Gogger. She had 1 sub, and it was her daughter. And so if you're on that end of things, nobody's seeing your stuff. That doesn't feel good. So I gave her a shout out, and she went over. Other people embraced her, and she went over 100 in no time.
I think it's easier too. I think it's easier nowadays because when we started, they didn't have the live chats.
Yeah.
StreamYard. There was nothing like that at all. So if you're a new person making videos, get yourself out there, comment on the live chats. People want to see your stuff. You got to get out there and do a little work, So I think it's easier because when we started, there was nothing like that. You were just like you're saying, grassroots effort to get your name out there by commenting other people's channels.
When we started, if somebody gave me a shout out, I was, I might get somewhere between 3 and 30 subs. I just shouted out a guy and he tripled his subs. He went from 102 to over 300. Dylan shouted him out too. I wasn't the only one, but what I'm saying is a few of us did a shout out and everybody embraced them. You couldn't do that in the old days. Just go from 100.
I mean, a live stream. I've been on live streams, and a guy will get 30, 40, 50 subs in a live stream, because just putting his name out there.
Yeah, I really like when I see somebody that has very few subs and they're saying in the video they want to meet people and this and that. I want to shout them out. Like, I want to get them subs. How else are we going to meet everybody? I met a lot of channels because I did a contest. I can't remember how many subs it was. It probably was 300 or 400. I did some kind of contest, and there were all kind of people doing the contest, and I didn't know them. I was like amazed that these people were participating, and I'd sub them, and that's how I got to know them.
Well, that's another good thing. Yes, do contests. VRs.
Those have become so less popular,
Yeah.
Rick.
But
Don't you
when we
think?
started, I did one at 100, 500, 1,000, 50, I mean, that type of thing. And you get your channel out there, And it's fun too. It's fun doing those things. So that would be another thing.
Thank you, Timeless Cardboard. Appreciate that. Yeah.
And
So what do you think about this phenomenon with these VRs? Because I notice it's so many. I know I've gotten a little bored with them, like not wanting to do them. I used to participate, and I hear other people like none of us non-YouTubers want to watch VRs, right? Like I don't think it's necessarily fun for people who subscribe to my channel and your channel, and they're not making content, and they might not know everybody. They're commenters and viewers watching somebody do a VR for somebody else. What are your thoughts?
it's kind of I think it's kind of jumped the shark somewhat.
Yeah.
Because I think when we started, I think a lot of people would participate and you grow your channel that way. But you're right. I mean, what new material you're going to have? I did one miscut cards, goofy cards. I had you do one, a messed up card, and you pick the best one. You kind of run out of material because you have the same people. It's kind of recycled. And then you have people like Jason that has the rules are about 5 minutes long so you got to have it, more concise, and so forth. And
Wait, who?
Jason.
Which
Remember
Jason?
Jason doing his Fisher bike?
Oh.
His things, you have to call him up and say, hey, what are the rules here?
Yeah.
And so you got to make it kind of simple for people to actually
VRs, I mean, sometimes they feel like work because you got to dig out all these cards. And I mean, you can see behind me, and this is, I've been sorting. That's why it's a mess. I'm getting reorganized, but that's just a tiny fraction of what I have. So if I have to go digging out cards, I mean, it could take me an hour to go get them and then an hour to put them back because I sort them all by year. I don't sort by player. So people will be like, show your 10 best Clemente cards. Well, it takes me a long time to get them out, and I've shown them 100 times. So it's not exciting for me to show them again.
I think if you have to be creative, I mean, like I said, all the ideas have been taken. You got to come up with a new angle, I think, for people to kind of be motivated to do it. I mean, what was the one where people would imitate you, right? There was one, whatever, imitate you and how you.
Oh, I did one early on because I was getting, I would use the glove, my symbolic glove to show cards. And I would get all these like hate comments. Why you need a glove to show cards? You're not going to damage graded cards. Just stupid ass comments that social media loves to bring your way. And so I did a video, and I think that might be where I met you or how I met you. That's how I met James. That's how I met a lot of people. But so the thing was to wear one glove and to show a card. And it wasn't to impersonate me, but everybody started to impersonate.
Yeah,
they had to use my opening. They had to use my opening too. So that was the only rules. They had to wear a glove and use my opening creatively, however they wanted to use it. And man, those were so much fun. I even had some kid I never saw before, and he had his laptop, and he says, "You know what I like to do when my class is over?" And he closes his laptop and shows some cards. And like Pepino Man had and Mr. Fisherbike too. They had big Mickey Mouse gloves, and I had one guy, David M, had a oven mitt. See, I still remember them because they were really creative.
So those are fun. I mean, those are fun. Yeah. There's what somebody did like imitation of another channel. I can't remember. It was a few years ago, and it was kind of pretty creative.
Yeah, they did. Those were fun.
Those are fun. So. Yeah. And then one thing you don't want to do, I'll tell you one thing you don't, there's a new channel, and I'm not going to mention new channel. I comment, hey, I'm a new sub. Congratulations on your new channel and this, that. And then it responds back, hey, thanks, Pete. Whatever it was. It was the funniest thing, you know. So you want to make sure you get the guy's name correct when you respond back, you know.
It's hard to remember all these names. I think I do a pretty good job because I'm not.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm
if
good with faces,
you
but
have a
not names.
brand new channel, you probably, and I've done this a few times. If it's a newer somebody don't recognize, I'll click on their channel to see if I got the right person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that type
me
of
too.
thing. Just even now, you know. So I mean, somebody's starting now. You better get their name correct.
Well, when they changed from the comments used to say your channel name,
Yeah,
and now they have the @ sign, and it could be a totally different name,
yeah. It's like
right?
petty. It
So
took me a
I had to
while.
learn. Yeah, I had to
I,
learn all those
it took
handles.
me a while to figure out who Petty was. You know,
Yeah,
he'd comment funny. This is, you know, whatever, a year ago or whatever. And, but anyway, that's another thing.
yeah.
But the thing is, we do, I mean, of course I do. I do everything wrong. I do everything wrong. I don't edit anything. It is what it is. My lighting is what it is. My sound is what it is. I don't have any kind of introduction or something posted right there, you know, with an O face or anything. I just decide, hey, I'm going to make a video, and here it goes, you know, that type of
Yeah,
thing.
so back to my scrolling. Hodges had said that um, he thinks it's all kids watching these things. Do you think that's true? Could be.
I
Could
think so.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the vintage is just totally, you know, I mean, it's a small portion of the hobby when it comes to just, and kids love YouTube. You know, I deal with kids all the time, and they love that kind of stuff. Where older
Yeah.
people, my wife doesn't, I don't even know YouTube's exist. You know,
Yeah.
she watches TV, this, or you know, but she doesn't watch YouTube. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, with when you look at like Jeff Wilson, I would venture to say it's mostly kids because you see them all gather around him at the National. There aren't a whole lot of adults when you compare it to the number of children that are chasing him around.
and there's people that you know can, they have all these subs, whatever, 10,000 subs, 15,000 subs, and you watch the video, and they have like 3 people comment on their video. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's
I
like,
always
are they not
think
interacting with the community? They're making the video, and that's it. You know.
yeah, there was this one channel, and he was complaining up a storm about the YouTube Hall of Fame and saying how he should be in it because he had 6,000, over 6,000 subs. And I went onto the video, and there was like one comment,
Yeah.
and very few, like 30 views and one comment. And I'm like, are these people, getting bots? Are they buying these subs? Or like, what good does it do you to have subs if they're not interacting with you?
Yeah.
Because even like all of us who have just 1,000 subs, we'll have 30 comments in the first hour,
Yeah.
with 1,000 subs.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Then they complain that they're not in the, I mean, the YouTube Hall of Fame is a community thing. You know, you don't have to have the best collection, but if you interact with the community, you have a good chance of being in the Hall of Fame, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're just real, act yourself and have a good time with it. But some people take it way, way, way too seriously. And
Well, I think it's a difference. Some people try to do this for a living,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
and that's a whole different game. You have to edit, you have to pay attention to your thumbnails, you have to do whatever you have to do to hit those algorithms. I think most of us collectors, we're just trying to meet people, trying to show cards, trying to enhance our collecting. I know that's what I do. I remember when I got to 1,000, I was teetering whether I should monetize or not. Because what are you going to make with 1,000 subs? I wasn't going to do it, and then I noticed that YouTube's putting ads on all my videos anyway, And I'm like, well, if they're going to put ads on my videos, why shouldn't I get a little piece of that?
Sure.
You know, because they're making it whether I'm monetized or not. And so I decided to monetize. But, you know, it's a good deal because, you know, it buys me a card every month.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But you have to work at it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can monetize, you should do it. Heck, you get a free card or something. I mean, YouTube's making money every time you get views. You might as well get a little piece of that.
Yeah.
But you know, some people that's what they want to do for a living, and you could tell the ones that are doing a channel for a living
Sure.
versus people that are just like it's a hobby.
Yeah.
But you know, if it turned into a business, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, it could turn in by accident.
Hey, so why don't you? I'm wondering because you would think you'd be able, like the Penny Saver or the Mag Pros, have a sponsor at all. A lot of people have sponsors, and
Yeah.
why don't you ever been asked to be?
I was asked. Yeah, I was asked once,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a Zoom call, and I looked it over, but it wasn't something I trusted, wasn't something I thought was good, and I didn't think my viewers would have any, you know, much of an interest in it, and I turned it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Now there are some companies I would accept sponsorships from because I love their products.
Yeah.
Like if BCW Supplies wanted to sponsor me, I would do it. I'd promote their products anyway.
Mag Pro
as one example. Yeah, Mag Pro. So if I believed in their products, you know, I'd take it.
You gave them so much business, even myself, because of you. I've bought. You know, I mean, but there's some people that they have all these sponsors that are not even related to what their content is. You know what I mean? It's kind of
well, they must find some value in it. I mean,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be paying them for nothing, right?
Sure.
They must find some value in it. I'm not sure what that is, but I mean, I'll never be somebody that the first 10 minutes of every video is me, you know, giving sponsors, talking about all that. But
people didn't. I mean, when we first started out too, if monetize, you're like, what the hell are you doing? Are you trying to make money, or what the hell what's going on? Or if you took sponsorships, you know, you're selling out, that type of thing. But it's
well, you know, some people would probably look at it that way, but
Yeah.
I don't look at it that way.
I mean, I'm just saying
the channel has a sponsor, but it's just if it's, you know, sometimes there's 5 sponsors, like the first 10 minutes of the video, and you could tell they're reading a script.
Yeah.
Like at least be genuine. You know, I don't know. Even when you watch TV or listen to the radio, you can tell the guy's reading a script that the company provided. I don't know if I was on the radio or something, I would want to sound more genuine than that. This is funny. Ruben, it would probably be more like in short. Nunchucks are us. Yeah, Karate Mart. That's where I get most of my nunchucks. I'd sponsor them.
They get a lot of views too, right? Nunchucks?
No.
No, I mean other people that do them. Don't they get a lot of views? You always show.
Well, you have the people that use those you know, fake nunchucks that spin real fast. Sometimes they get a lot of views, but I didn't really see any channels that get a lot of views. And I've watched a lot of them. You know, not a whole bunch. It's weird sometimes. Some of the channels. My brother-in-law is a big accountant, and he does all these big businesses and stuff. And he does this one channel out of Baltimore, and it's like young kids driving around in sports cars, getting arrested, and he does their taxes, and they make an absurd amount of money on YouTube. It's just insane. And if you would watch their video, you probably wouldn't get through 10 minutes of it.
I guess collecting cars is just not cool.
Well, it's definitely never going to be a mainstream channel. We're not going to compete with the Kardashians, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need.
We should have put that on the list too when we were doing the
Card
list.
politics is bad enough. You got PSA and modern people hate vintage, and vintage people hate modern, and all this drama going on all the time.
You bring any of that up, it's going to get views.
Yeah,
Vintage versus modern, or somebody.
I mean, I
said
like
something.
hobby talk, and I like to hear people's thoughts. It's just sometimes we beat a topic to death, and I just get so it's like hearing that favorite song over and over until you hate it.
Yeah.
And it's like a topic that I am into initially, like I want to hear about it. Then I'm like, oh, not another one, and I just won't watch it. I get tired of watching it.
Sure.
It starts to get depressing after a while. The whole hobby is just controlled by PSA. Even the narrative, even the content is all PSA, PSA, PSA. PSA grading reveals. PSA screwed me. PSA changed their rules. I didn't get a 10, or I got a 10, or how to flip sports cards, buy them raw on eBay, get 10s, sell them for $100,000, that kind of thing. I get personally, I get triggered by all the PSA talk.
Oh, you do?
Well, the PSA grading, like I don't know, like scrutinizing every little tiny thing, and always having to do these reveals and guessing the grades. Like I'm being 100% honest with you. The last thing on this earth I care about is what number PSA put on somebody's cards. The second to last thing I care about is what a gem rate is, like what the gem rate of a card is. And people lately have been like telling me their gem rate percentage.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything I care about less. Like since the last few months, I've made a killing in the stock market, but I don't comment on people's videos. This is what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to give PSA all my money, and I don't care about paying 100 times for PSA 10s because I like money. To me, it's absurd to pay $5,000 for an $80 card just because it has a 10 on it. And I have 10s, but I didn't pay that for them. Some of them I got graded myself, but it's like people like to flex with 10s. Like, it doesn't impress me. I could care less about a 10 on a card. Could care less. And I would never pay the up price for it because, like I said, I like money too. I like other things too. As much as I love cards, they don't have to be 10s.
Yeah.
I don't know how many 10s you have.
I can count on my fingers, I think. Literally count on my fingers how many 10s I have. And I didn't, it could be a Tim Lincecum rookie or a Will Clark rookie or, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I got, back in the day, I was into grading. I wasn't always anti. And, I had some cards graded. They all graded high from my childhood. And I would buy some of my favorite cards, that I had when I was young that weren't in good shape. And I would seek those out. They didn't have to be 10s, but I'd seek them out, an 8, 9, 10, just a cleaner copy. And, it's so much cheaper than graded than, back then, 4 Sharp Corners they would have nothing but 10s for like $5.99, $9.99, $12.99. I mean, they were so cheap. And when I saw 4 Sharp Corners and I saw PWCC, and they had all these thousands upon thousands of 10s and 9s, and I wasn't seeing thousands, elsewhere. I mean, I'm not a dumb person. You can't make me believe they weren't getting favoritism. Everything they had was a 9 or 10, and it was, at a ridiculous percentage over all the other cards I was seeing on eBay.
Yeah.
I would just buy them from them.
I mean, the people that are buying these cards obviously are in it to flip it later, whether it's tomorrow or next year. They're not buying it because they collect that certain player necessarily. They're buying it to flip it, because you just wouldn't, if you're collecting a particular player, you're not going to be spending $5,000 on a 10 when you can buy a 9 for $100.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you make a
Because
good
they're
point.
flipping it. They're not collecting that card, which is fine. I'm just saying, but they're not buying it as a
Yeah. No, I'm of the opinion those cards selling for 30, 40,000, 50,000, 70, 100,000 just because they have a 10. I'm of the opinion that those are flippers flipping them to each other.
Sure.
Because you and I know a lot of people with a lot of money, a lot of big time collectors have the biggest cards in the hobby, and they don't seek those high grades, right?
Yeah. And they're not even on YouTube.
They're not paying
they're not on YouTube
one grade.
We both know people that have insane collections that maybe comment on our videos, but they don't,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
they're not flexing at all.
Out there.
They're not flexing at all. So
what I'm trying to get at is I don't personally see collectors doing that.
Sure.
I don't know people paying $100,000 for a prospect or $40,000 for a rookie quarterback prospect. I think those are flippers flipping to each other, because if he does make it, that could be $1 million card in 2 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
And so I think it's mostly speculation, and we kind of have to separate ourselves from that, I think, because I think a lot of collectors get wrapped up seeing that, and it influences them, because in that realm, in that world, anything less than a 10 is junk.
Yeah.
And it can make you feel inferior. I mean, we're getting to the point where PSA 10s are going to be worn around your neck like bling, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to wear chains anymore. You're going to wear a PSA 10 because that's how they're treated. And like I said, they're like, it's like to impress you or something.
Sure.
But not everybody's impressed by that.
No.
Like you're almost insecure if you need to be, you need to have a Rolex to impress somebody else or whatever. If you're doing it for the accolades, this is collecting. I don't know what kind of accolades you're going to get.
Yeah. I think all those channels you showed earlier were all people that, they maybe collect, but they're flipping all those cards, So.
Yeah, I'm of that opinion too. And then of course you have just billionaire collectors or whatever that don't care.
Yeah, FU money.
Don't spend 100,000.
FU money, yeah.
And everybody's, people will make the comment, and I get it. Some people want the best copy of a card, and that's a 10. Mm-hmm. But my argument is it? If you can crack 9s and send them in and get a 10, or if you crack that 10 and send it in without the holder, would it still get a 10? Because with the rule changes, a lot of those won't anymore.
Yeah.
So it's, it's subjective. So when you say this is the best copy, not necessarily, just because, it's in that holder. There could be 9s that go in that holder. There could be raw cards that were never graded. I talk about that with the 80s and 90s cards all the time, because none of us were dumb enough to submit all our 80s and 90s cards. It would have cost us $100,000 to grade them all. But now that they're worth money, I think you'll see more coming out of the woodwork. Now with some of these 10 prices. I mean, I'm looking through. I'm thinking about looking through all of my cards and sending some in, because these prices are just stupid. Yeah. And I would gladly take the money and get myself a 9 for 1,000th of the price.
All that, every year when I go to the National, I'm always buying a box of junk wax for $25-$30, and we'll open it up, and they'll be all over the floor, all over the table. Next year, I'm just going to collect those babies and look at them. Maybe
we got to be more careful.
We
have to be more careful. We got to have the gloves and put them in.
That would be funny, you got to
right
get 10
away
here somewhere.
Yeah, you got
$30 box.
So you sold some of your high-graded cards to buy some dream cards recently. What's the most ridiculous in your mind? The most ridiculous sale you had? Because I know you were selling some commons.
Yeah, well, the one just recently I sold that, the 52 Monty Irvin. It was in an 8, and it sold for 2,300 in an 8, where I paid like maybe $500 for it. And that wasn't that long ago. It was probably the 1920 National. I picked it up like $500 and sold it for $2,300.
Wow,
It's crazy.
that's pretty good.
And you know, and then I'm looking. Okay, I need to pick one up. You know, I don't have it no longer, and I'm looking at nice, literally nice 7s, nice even 4s that look great. You know what I mean? And they're under $100. This is crazy. $100 for the same
What do you
car.
think? What do you think the 10 fascination is when you're looking at I don't know, like cards under a high-powered magnification loop or something? Like, is it just ego? I mean, I think it is.
Yeah,
But what do you think?
It must be. Must be.
Because you can't tell the difference between
You
a
can't.
nine.
I mean, granted, this 8 looked really nice, okay, but still, if it had like a little ding in the corner, but the rest of it just looked like, and it dropped it down 4 or 5 grades, it looked, with my eyesight, I can't even see that little ding.
Yeah, and I totally understand, like, not wanting a ding or you wanted it to look perfect. But there are lots of cards that look perfect to your eye, look perfect.
Yeah,
That aren't going to get a 10. Because there's maybe something they see under magnification.
I mean,
maybe the grader's in a bad mood that day. Maybe they do pop control.
It's set registry. The person who bought that card, I'm sure they weren't a Monty Irvin collector. They're either building that set the highest grade they can get, or they want to be on the PSA set registry. But they're not they're just not paying $2,300 for Monty Irvin in an 8. And there has to be a reason for it, right?
Yeah. Well, you were selling some 68 like commons from the Giants. What were those selling for? You had like 9?
They were like PSA 9, 60s cards, and depending on the player, $200 up. A common, it'd be $150, $200 for a common and a 9, a 60s card. And if it was a Hall of Famer, even a minor Hall of Famer, I'll say, I was getting $500 plus for it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a rookie card. It was just a Gaylord Perry 60 whatever 5 or something like that. Was going for crazy money, and it was kind of dumb. Why? I mean, I can pick one up.
You used to be able to get those 9s for like $30.
Yeah, that's what I paid for it. That's what I wasn't gonna pay. None of those cards I paid more whatever.
Well, let's talk about. I want to talk about another topic, but before that, there's a question for you. They want to know if that's what you cleared after fees. The eBay listing was sold for $3,000. Is that what your money?
No, okay, so I did that particular card through Probstein, and if it meets a certain price, they're going to take, I think, 4%. 4%. So I ended up clearing whatever $2,050, $2,100, something like that, and the card sold for 23 something, if I remember right. And if I were to sell it myself, like now, if I go on eBay, I probably have like 600, whatever types of sales, or just whatever 600. I'd probably get maybe 1,800 for it. But since it's Probstein, it was 2,300 because they just get the most views. Yeah. So I have, I don't have to ship it out.
Their cards go for more. I mean,
they go for more. So if I were to sell it myself,
and then
I
at
would
the very
not
end
get
it'll run up
23 whatever. So even if I cleared, I don't remember, I cleared like 21 or $2,050, $75 or something like that, it would probably sell for 1,800, and then I would pay not 4%, they would probably take 10%, 12% fees
Yeah.
from me. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I'm not Probstein. So I think it's actually,
Well, there are a
people
lot of
complain about Probstein. I have had zero issues selling the cards through them. They pay me literally. If let's say they get right now, they get the package today, it goes up tomorrow. They don't hold the package of all my cards. Even if it's a $25 card, they're going to put it up the next day. And then I get a email twice a day to showing those cards an update of what they're going for. Do I have any issues? How they posted the cards, the picture. And I've done that one time where they actually changed what they put down for the whatever. Not that they misspelled it, but I told them it was a photo to correct how they worded it. And they even corrected how it was presented, because I said, hey, this photo doesn't look like the one I have, can you do another better picture? They did it.
Yeah.
And then a week later, I usually get paid whatever, they'll deduct.
You've spoken very highly of them.
I mean,
they got a little on my bad side because I kept seeing them selling fake cards on eBay. I saw a couple within a couple weeks.
Well,
few.
like I'm saying is they probably go through it. I don't know how many. I'm just a little small guy sending in 50, 75 cards, and they're posted the next day.
Yeah, I mean, you
so
have nothing.
The person going through it, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Well, they're just rapid fire. They're not like me. Like if you're sending me cards and I'm going to go, okay, yeah, this doesn't look legit. They're probably just posting the cards,
Yeah, I mean, you speak very highly of them. Your experience has been wonderful. I think that's important to share with people. I don't have that experience. I haven't sold through them.
Yeah.
Now,
shilling's a whole different, I mean, I've even told people, even John or people in my little chat, I literally said there's a photo here that should go way more than it is right now.
Yeah.
Not that I was shilling it. I wasn't going to pay, but I'm just telling my friends.
It did run at the end.
They even promote that, meaning not me doing it, but, your cards are out there,
Yeah, so Clemente, Theo, I don't know. I always suspected that with them, and I always suspected it with PWCC too. Just from watching auctions, PWCC, I would find a card, and I do this with. Well, let me just be clear. I'm not going to accuse anybody of shilling. I have no idea, and I would never accuse anybody of that. You just when you see all these things go at the very end, then that's going to cause people to be suspicious. However, there's sniper software, and lots of people use sniper software, and so that's just to put the bid in at the very end. So like that photo you were talking about that you sent us, that thing was going for nothing. You knew it was going to go for a lot more.
Yeah.
And it still went a little less than what you probably thought, right?
Yeah.
But it went at the very end. So somebody probably put a good price in there in a sniper software, and it just bid their price at the very end.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I didn't care. I mean, I knew it was going to go. I just said, hey, if it goes for $350, it's a great deal. It should go for $500, and it went more than $350. But I was just telling people that friends of mine that, if you want a photo, you might be able to get it at an inexpensive price. It wasn't like, it's not that for me. It wasn't. I wasn't shilling. I can
but
whatever. If it sold for 300, it sold for 300. I didn't even. I'm just telling people.
Yeah. I'm just. But it's
and
a
I
good
don't
example.
think they care. I mean, they care, but they're not going to care. I mean, maybe something's shilled if it's a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 card, but you have $100 card. You'd be like, no one's. What are you gonna?
Yeah. The one thing that I don't, well, I'll back up here a minute. So you using Probstein and you're getting good prices. I mean, the name matters. The some people like them and David's Vintage, they get way higher prices. And I cannot. And PWC back in the day,
And I cannot tell you how many times I was bidding on cards at all those sites. I can't tell you how many times. And they would go above what I was willing to pay. And then I'd get off of there and I'd say, okay, I'm outbid. And I would go find it for a tiny fraction, not a tiny fraction, but a fraction of the price, a nicer example that some other eBay seller was selling it for.
Sure.
And that's why I always suspected there could be shilling, because why are cards selling for more at those sites when I could go get a better copy cheaper or a higher grade cheaper? But it just boils down to the visibility, I think. Like, people are probably searching their stuff as a seller.
Sure.
And a lot of smaller eBayers don't, they don't get seen unless you type in a specific card.
Yeah,
And even then, there's a bunch to choose
I mean,
from.
if it's the same card, they for the most part, they show you a real nice picture, front and back. Where the Joe Blow, the picture quality might be iffy at best. Maybe they only have, whatever, 200 sales. Maybe they're charging more for when they mail it out to you, or Probstein is whatever, $5.99 for most, pretty much any item, unless it's really expensive. But I don't know. I'm not that I mean, I don't sell. You always say flip it. I mean, it's not like I'm a. I don't sell that many. I mean, just people sell Probstein.
No. I know you don't, Rick. I just think that it's a good exercise. It's interesting, for other people to see your experience. That's all, because there are a lot of collectors now, and you're one of them, who, with some of these PSA prices, we find them to be a bit insane. And you can sell a card you don't like that much or don't need in a high grade, and you can go buy yourself a Ruth. You could sell a, now not everybody wants a Ruth. So I'm not saying that's what you should do. So nobody get offended by that. I'm saying that that's what Rick likes. So if Rick likes to buy a Babe Ruth, and I would too, I'd rather have a Babe Ruth than a Ricky Henderson 1986 tops in a 10. I have that set with tons of doubles, and I don't need it in a 10. So to me, I'd rather have a nice vintage card, and you're the same way. So your experience of doing that, I think there's a lot of people, from what I could see on YouTube, that are doing that now, that are selling off either cards they don't want or high grades. Adam, Splendid Sports, he just posted, he sold a Larry Bird 86 Fleer 10 for over $5,000 and bought a beautiful 7 for $85. And I mean, in a picture, you can't tell much of a difference, like a tiny little bit of a difference, sure. But that card, he wanted the $5,000 or $4,900 more than he wanted, the number on that slab. And there are a lot of people like that. Now there are a lot of people that are reverse. They wouldn't even want that 7. They'd throw it in the garbage. They would only want a 10. So to each his own. But it's a good experience, because I think most people that watch our channels and most people we hang out with are more of our mindset.
Yeah. When I sold, the YouTube community, I sold a bunch of cards to you guys, and if I were to put them on Probstein, I would have got a lot more on some of those cards.
Hey, make me feel bad.
Collectors, and then it was also just man, you got to keep track of, hey, is that card still available? No, it's sold to someone else. You got to mail it out. And my age, I just kind of, what I mean? I
was looking for that. I was looking for that Rube Marquard for a long time. I was thrilled to buy that from you. For $5K.
Yeah.
Hey, does anybody want to jump on here? I'll give you the link. Anybody want to join this discussion? Dylan, you said you might join. Theo, you seem to have a lot to talk about. Bink, you want to join? Ruben.
and just to say, I'm not. I mean, it's okay. It's okay to sell. You know, we tease people, or I tease even people, you know, about. But it's okay to sell, and it's.
Well, of course, it's okay to sell.
I'm just saying, I'm
sold.
reinvesting into other cards or downsizing to bigger cards.
Well, there was this
And I think it's
narrative going
crazy
around.
at this time for certain cards to sell them, you know, if you want other cards. So I have no problem with people, however they want to sell them.
So,
You
Rick,
know.
there was this narrative going around that like our community or whatever looked down on you if you sold cards. Like that was like taboo. And then when people started selling them, everybody was like, "Oh, the mighty have fallen," or whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm like, whoever said you shouldn't sell cards?
exactly.
I mean, we were not thrilled with the flippers coming in and raising prices. And I'm seeing cards on Facebook, and they're like, "I'll sell you this for 3,000. It's not in hand yet." They're buying them and flipping them. They don't even have the card yet.
Yeah.
So that got a little frustrating. Or I'd see cards on sale for eBay that I was watching, and 2 weeks later, after it sells, it's on there for twice as much.
Yeah.
And so as a buyer, that's not fun. But I never heard anybody talk badly about somebody that just sold a card.
No.
Here, George is here. George.
He's the flipper right there. There's the flipper.
Flipping George.
Well, you guys were you're just talking about that card, John. I think the one that the person bought, was that a Martin de Higo, and they
Yes.
put it back up on eBay for like $8,000.
Yes, and it didn't sell for 3 or 4 years, and he just sold it at auction and got his money.
Well, there aren't a lot of carrying costs to that.
No, but yeah, he held it for like 3 or 4 years. That thing was on eBay for. I watched it the whole time because I wanted the card, but he bought it for. Well, it was listed for 2,000, and I think he bought it for less. I think he made an offer, and turned around in 2 weeks, and I was like, "Damn it, I missed my opportunity." But I didn't want to pay that for it, and it had a stain on it. It has a black mark on it, and I was hoping to find a better copy because I don't like that copy. But it ended up selling for a fortune. But he finally got his money out of it anyway, so good for him.
So, Rick, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks. Doing good.
I was waiting for you to come down to the Ontario to the West Coast Card Show.
You know, in the another chat I'm in a chat with all those LA guys, and a lot of them said everyone praises you, LA Collector, LA whatever his name is, and a few other channels, but they were saying like there might be like 10 channels, 10 dealers there that you really want to see, and a lot of it's Pokemon and modern, and I would go for just to hang with you guys. But for the cards itself, is it worth it for me to go down there?
I mean, Ash was there.
Okay.
We sold Ash some cards on the last day. There's some vintage dealers from Arizona, Joe Groney and Matt Doyle. They're there. There's a lot of vintage stuff there, but it's big. You gotta search.
Yeah. You have to
One
search.
of the rooms was 150 tables. We were in the smaller room. It was better lighting, and they funneled you in the bigger room, which is like 600 tables. So it was, hey Chris, it was a good show. I mean,
Okay.
I sold a lot. It was dead on Friday though because of Valentine's Day. I felt like on Valentine's Day, all the women were like, "Listen, we're going to dinner," and then on Saturday it was elbow to elbow.
Yeah, I should go, but they all praise you. And I guess LA Collectibles. I think I met. He used to have a channel, right?
Yeah, Levon,
Yeah.
LA Collection.
But
He used to open like older packs.
Okay.
He used to talk about how everybody, you can own a 52 Mantle, and this is how I owned mine. And he's our partner there. And my buddy Eric Grimy Mitz was with us too. So we had 5 continuous tables there. Lots of good buying and selling. And my buddy Eric bought a really cool Ruth. And I'm trying to remember, it was a hand cut Ruth. And I'll see if I can find it real quick.
Was it what is it?
Rick will like it.
Oh man, I'm drawing a 572.
I'm looking for the picture. You sound like you might be close.
Is it black and white?
No, W517.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
PSA 5 just walked up to the table. The same
Nice.
guy had a Star Jordan in a 7, not the 101, but another rookie Star Jordan, and some beautiful Pele card. But anyway, so this is my butt. You know, when you're he's a dealer too, but this is going in his personal collection.
Sure.
He went to the safety deposit box.
That's the one I prefer of the two. You know, there's the other one of just his face.
Portrait.
Yeah.
I have the portrait
like
one.
That's
I think
a
the portrait
beautiful-
one's
that's a
more
beautiful
common.
example.
That's more scarce. That one particular image.
Yeah,
I
they
believe.
made that look real too.
I know they even slabbed it up in a lighthouse holder. Pretty amazing.
And you don't see them in 5s.
I know. That's
No,
what I
not,
thought. I
not
said,
too
"Dude,
often.
it's a 5. You better."
Not until Kirk gets a hold of them. It was an authentic 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Then he rebuilt one half of it.
I'm still blown away that he turned a Satchel Paige authentic, altered into a 6. That still blows my mind.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because at the show, a young man who runs our power show here in Arizona on this casino, it's called the Power Show. He doesn't do vintage too much, but he had a really nice 53 page, and it was authentic altered. And I looked at it and I said it was dead centered and the color was beautiful. And I thought to myself, damn, this looks like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the alteration? I was looking kind of closer. He grabbed, he spun it around. You know, in the clouds on the right side of his face, there's a little bit of pencil mark, and then somebody erased it. So it kind of blends in with the clouds. You know, it's kind of white.
Oh my God, that was so common back then.
And we were joking around, you know. Levon and I were joking around. It's an altered, but it looks like a 3. And I mean, it's like the nicest altered you'll ever see. And he said, well, you know, you could crack it out and you could put the writing back on it, and then it'll get like a 3 MK, so it'll get a higher grade.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, stupid. So anyway, it was.
But anyway, it was a good. I remember texting you. You were saying it was a good show for you. You weren't able to buy a lot of stuff because you were working your butt off and sold a lot of stuff, huh?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people. I realize the dealers. Well, there's people who just travel and buy, right? And so a friend of mine who I know, he travels and buys, and man, he picked up a beautiful 50 or 49 Bowman Jackie Robinson in a 1, and off of a guy apparently who had like 1 case and only 20 cards in the case. And he told me what he paid for it. And I'm just like, I made an offer to him immediately. I said, I'll pay you $300 more because Lou Rock's looking for this card.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't get a chance to find that card because, you know, we set up and then I'm kind of stuck there, which is great. It's fine.
Sure.
But at the same time, I'd like to walk and go buy more.
Yeah. You get a lot of people. I was saying,
go
you
ahead.
get a lot of people come up to you. I know you. I saw a picture of you in the background, always buying or whatever you have. Diamond Yard sports cards. You got a lot of people come up to you and try to sell you stuff.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You presume when you do shows that people know you're a dealer and you're buying, right? You just presume that. For the longest time, I didn't have a sign, and then people would come up and say, "Hey, you buying?" I'm like, I thought it was just implied we're all buying.
Yeah.
But you have to put a big sign over your head, buying, or Levon has one, cash paid, you know. And even then, you know, people will say, "Hey, you buying?" And I'm like, I don't want to be a jerk.
George, you should hire Rick to go to the shows with you and be one of those guys that spins the sign around.
Yeah.
They hire those guys on the street.
He could be the sign flipper. He can flip behind his back, going between his legs. These guys are talented between their
Rick the
legs.
And one hand's on their phone, looking at their phone as they're.
Hey, I wanted to tell you something though. When you said about that Satchel Paige, you know, I have a rare Walter Johnson Oxford confectionery, and it had a little tiny pencil mark at the top, and it was erased. You can't even see it unless you look real closely, because it's like a 3 or 3.5 marked.
Mm-hmm.
They graded it. They put a number on it, marked. And because when I saw the mark, I'm like, where is the mark? And you know, the seller had told me, and you know, that car at the time I bought it
I think there were 13 graded, so I really didn't care. Can't see it. But it's just interesting to me that they gave that a number, but yours didn't get a number for the exact same reason. I mean,
Mine
exact
didn't get
same
a
situation.
number. The one I bought didn't get a number because somebody tried to erase it. If it was a clean mark and it was the
No,
eraser,
that's what I'm saying. Mine was erased.
maybe somebody
You could
cracked
see
it
face-
open and went
You
and
know
threw
what?
that line
It
back
might,
in.
actually, now that I think about it, it might be that somebody had something like a piece of paper on top of it and wrote, where it's a little indented, like it came through a little bit. Because I've seen that on other cards where they didn't write directly on the card, but they were writing on top of the card.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the situation with mine.
Well, here for those of you out there who want to know about marks and how they're dealt with. Here's a little PSA about PSA.
Hey, Clemente, you talking smack on my Walter Johnson?
Well, the right qualifier is okay. The right mark is okay. It just depends on
Hey, I'm
what.
of the opinion autograph cards should be marked. Aren't they marked? If I signed the card, it would be marked.
I think that would be accurate and ruin the way that PSA
It's
makes
totally
money.
accurate.
You're blowing up how they're going to make money, John.
Not to mention, their authentication is an opinion, and they'll tell you that. So it might not even be that player's signature, in which case it would be marked.
Well, were you the one who was saying somebody said their pet peeve was that I have this really nice PSA card here? Maybe that was James. Like how people say, I've got this really nice PSA card here. It's not a PSA card. It's a 53 satchel page.
Right.
In a PSA holder, which only means that PSA has rendered an opinion on the grade at that very time.
Yeah, I saw a post yesterday and it said slabs for sale. And I wanted so bad to message the guy and say, does the card come with it, or are you just selling the slabs?
Yeah.
And when people say I got a graded version of a card, it's not a version of a card. It's a card that you have in that holder. Exactly. It's like if I put it in a Mag Pro, is it a Mag Pro version of the card? Like I don't get that.
I only buy Mag Pro holders.
Yeah, I mean, is it a top loader version of a card?
Yeah. Rick,
it's not a version of the card.
What did you go and unearth?
I'll show you. So I have a Cracker Jack John McGraw that somebody tried to erase the check mark, and they put it, see the check mark above his, right next to his head there, side of his, here.
Hey, Rick, did you just get that? I never saw that.
No, I've had it. So they put it as authentic altered because somebody tried to erase the check mark.
Hey, are you flipping that? I'll buy that from you.
No, I got it for cheap too, man.
That is the same as the satchel page that I have. That's the same kind of idea. But the card looks beautiful, Rick.
So they would probably put a mark, if they didn't erase it, right? They put, in the old days, they probably put, I would say this is it's actually pretty nice. So it might be a 3 with a mark or something. I don't know,
Yeah, that's what Levon said. Levon said to me when I got the satchel page, he says, hey, just crack it out and just take a pen and put some markings where the race mark is, and you'll get a numeric grade.
Yeah.
More. Which, of course, it would look like crap. But here's a little PSA about PSA. So if you have a card, and you should check all your cards to make sure that PSA hasn't missed anything, because I've had this happen on more than one occasion where I've bought a card and literally held on to it for years. Example, 56 Clemente, PSA 5, dead center, beautiful card. About a year ago, I'm looking through some cards at the very Ontario show that I have set aside to get reholdered because, it's in an old holder. And we all know that if it's in an old holder, it's shit. So anyway, I end up looking at the card in the back. There's a mark, and it's like a H. He's falling backward in the cartoon. John, you know this? 56 Clemente.
What about it?
56 Clemente. He's falling backwards in the cartoon. And in the background is a field goal post. What looks like a field goal post. When I looked at the card, and there was a mark on it. It wasn't a field goal post. It was a mark. But PSA had not put it as a 5MK. So there's a tremendous difference in value between a 5MK and a 5. And so I sent it back to PSA. I said, you need to reholder this as a 5MK. And they emailed me back and they said, you're absolutely right. We're going to put it in a 5MK holder free for you. And we're going to ship it to you for free. And I said, well, boy, that's great. Now let's talk about your grade guarantee. You need to pay me out the difference between a 5MK and a 5. So you should always look at your cards to make sure they don't have marks on them. And if they do, PSA has to stand behind it if you send it back.
Well, I've seen a few of those lately. And of course, Rick sent me that that Colgan's Tie Cobb at a 9. It had a pinhole, not to mention other flaws. It had surface flaws as well, but it had a damn pinhole that was pretty clear. And you could even see it on the back too. Like, even though it was a picture, you could clearly see it's a pinhole because it's on the front and the back. But there were other flaws too.
Where'd you see that at?
Rick, you were on the chat. He sent it in the chat one day.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like the only one. It was,
but it was in a 9. We're not talking a 5 or a 3. It was in a 9, and you know what those sell for at a 9. So they would have had to pay a lot of money on that guarantee.
But they will have to follow through. I mean, if it slipped by, they still have to follow through. I was going to reholdered a 56 Maze like a year ago, and it has a mark on the back. So originally it was slabbed. I bought it probably 8 years ago. I didn't see it. I subbed it for reholder. When they reholdered it, they missed it again.
Oh, wow.
Twice. I mean,
but
they're
the experts.
They're nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect, yeah.
Nobody's
to repeat the same mistake. I mean, if they would just have a double check, they could be very near perfect. Have another set of eyes on it.
Yeah. Well, SGC's been real. I've done some SGC orders recently. They've been doing great, accurate grades, and did vintage, did modern, and get them back to you quickly. They respond to my emails within one day. It's pretty amazing.
I've always preferred SGCs, but as a seller, you're going to take a bath. So I know why you have to use PSA.
Yeah, not as much of a bath as you used to. I mean, you think about it.
Let me just rephrase that. For the cards like the old vintage that Rick and I collect, you're not going to take a bath on SGC. Many of us prefer SGC, but modern cards you would take a bath.
Well, here's an example though. Like, I had some base chrome Shoheis that I need to get back before the show's here. I mean, he's going to be here in spring training. We're going to have our shows, and I was looking, and a PSA 10 of this chrome update rookie goes for 160. A SGC 10 goes for 130. So, I mean, if it's 130 versus 160, but I get it back in 2 weeks versus getting it back in 2 months, it's definitely going to make a difference.
Yeah. What do you think of this comment, George? You're the PSA guy.
It's certainly, I know Carlisle's great, really, but I don't know if they have any of this going on, allegedly.
It's hard to believe they have the time with 2 minutes per card to grade 1.5 million cards.
I know what Carlisle said, used to be correct back before, back in pre-2020. I felt like that was correct, and that's what I was told. But I don't know now. Who knows, man?
Yeah. So Theo, I'm not saying you'll take a bath. Yeah. What I'm saying is you could sell it for a lot more, a modern card and PSA. So that is, if you're missing out on money, that's taking a bath. Like, if I sell you my car, it's worth $8,000 and you're paying me $6,000, I took a bath on it, even if I paid less for it. In my mind.
I tend to believe that, if you have like a Mahomes RPA, rookie patch auto, you want it to be in a PSA holder or a Beckett holder. SGC doesn't do too well on that stuff.
Really, Beckett, you think?
Well, I mean, if you're going to have a second fiddle in the modern world, it's going to be Beckett usually. Especially.
Well, what do you think about Mike Baker's new grading company? he started.
The Mike Baker Gold, say what you want. The Mike Baker Gold Diamonds go for more money. They just
Oh,
do.
no. I know they do. I never said they didn't.
And I think that there's.
I just don't know why people don't have their own eyes. They need somebody else to tell them it looks good.
Well, yeah, I know. People want all these.
No, I know they sell for more. I'm not disputing that.
I mean, it's like it shocked me one day. I was looking up I was at a show. I had a PSA 6 Clemente in the case, right? 60 Clemente and a 6. And I had a pretty firm high number on it because it was centered. It looked nice. And then some guy was asking me, you know, about the comps on it. And I looked, and there was a PSA 6 Clemente that had sold for close to $1,000. And I was like, holy cow. And I looked, and it was a Mike Baker Gold Diamond. So a $375 card was selling for close to $1,000 with that.
No, I know. It's so ridiculous. So, Carlisle here, I don't know what to call you. You have a few names. I'd like to know your name, but he says Nat Turner explicitly said this was their protocol recently.
Yeah,
now,
I believe that. I believe that, but I don't know how it's possible.
It is hard to believe when you see these errors that 2 or 3 people missed it. That's just hard to believe.
I think
But anyway, enough.
I can't believe if somebody's turning in whatever, you know, they're not. One guy's looking at it. If it's a $50 card, if it's a $10,000 card, I'm sure a couple of people are looking at that card.
Well, you know what? That's a great point, Rick. If it's a high dollar card, there probably is more than one person. But in a 2025 whatever, it's probably not a whole lot of people looking at that thing. And if so, how did the Wemby get a 10? If 3 people were looking at that?
Well, let me tell you this, and I don't know if you guys have submitted recently, but we had I submitted 3 cards with a buddy of mine, and he submitted 70 or so. And my 3 cards were 75 Brett Mini, which I expected to get a 4, and it got a 4. Great. I submitted a Dick Butkus rookie, which I expected to get a 5, and it got a 6. Great. And then the other card was the 79 Walter Payton, and I thought this card had a chance for a 9 or a 10. It was sharp. I mean, if I poked Rick in the forehead, he'd bleed all over like Abdullah the Butcher. This thing was sharp, and it got minimum size requirement. Minimum size. Yeah. It's from a childhood collection of a guy. It's not minimum size. And that was the theme of the order. My buddy submitted 70 cards, and 1/3 of them, same percentage, got minimum size requirement.
It is so frustrating, I'm sure, for people that pull these cards themselves, and they're saying, you know, the minimum size. It's like when Pepino, he was at some show where he got an autograph, and later walked over to PSA and they wouldn't authenticate it. They said it wasn't real. he just got it in person, like hours earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's like there's no way that this many cards, 1/3 of these cards were minimum size requirement. And I've been talking to people in the community and at the Ontario show, and they're like, "Oh, you got min size too?"
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God,
the
videos. There was a guy the other day out of like, I don't know, 20 some cards, 5 of them got it, and I see this every day. I've been talking about it for many months. This has been going on. Look at that baby.
Look at that baby. That's minimum size.
Well, that's no good. It doesn't have a number on it.
Just bleached white right there, baby. And I probably saved a couple $1,000 because it says minimum size on it, you know. Just a beauty.
Yeah, but if SGC is putting min size on it, then it's min size. It's just, that's correct.
I would love for there to be a grading company that just authenticates and identifies. You know, you get a label with no damn number on it. Just, this is an authentic, unaltered card.
Yeah, and then we had a recent submission, another recent one. I just submitted some 390 Jordans. It was a modern submission. 390 Jordans, and I actually got some 10s. But the first one was a 10, 90 Flair Jordan. The second one was altered, and the third one was a PSA 10. And they're from the same collection, the same binder, So one got a 10, one got altered, one got a 10. Who's altering a 1990 Fleer Jordan? Nobody I know. I mean, come on. Like, really?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, this
Seriously.
is.
I mean, the card, it was a $1 card until the boom.
Yeah, and this is my problem. You know, you
Mine
go
was
to them because they're supposed to be the industry leader, the expert, right? Like if John or Rick, if you had your business and you went to an attorney and you had an issue with a consumer in your business, and you went to this lawyer who was a hot shot and he was the best in the industry, and you were to say, give me an opinion letter on this certain issue, and he wrote you the opinion letter saying you were okay on this, and he gave it to you, right? Then 6 months later, you have the same legal issue with a different client, and you went to the same attorney, and he wrote you a legal opinion letter saying the opposite thing. They're the ones who are the experts. Like, how can you? It doesn't jive with me, but
you say they're the experts. All right, another question here. Should they treat minimum size like a mark or a stain? That is a lower grade rather than ungraded. I'm in.
Oh, John Frieza.
Well, I'll answer this. I think that, like, the thing is, you're putting men's size on cards when you're grading them, and they're not men's size. They're just not. I mean, I don't know about you, Rick, but when I send stuff in, like vintage, I grab one of those tape measures, like sewing tape measures, and I pull it taut. And I measure cards, and they're not men's size. And then sometimes they get men's size.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Those 33 Gaudy cards, man, they're all over the board. You know, when you look, you can just, by your naked eye, can see the borders are, some are really large, some are, I mean, barely any border, and they grade them, and they're quite a bit of a difference. There's more leeway maybe on the 33 Gaudis, but that's just what
the quality control on these cards, whether it's 33 Gaudi or, I mean, shoot, if it's a Canadian issue, like Leaf. I mean, I know that there was a big run of like them grading potentially fake Leaf cards, 49, 48, 49 Leaf, but it's like the deviation in the size is significant.
Yeah.
Swell, 48 swell, big deviation in size.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not, you know, these aren't cards that were, these are not cards that were
Sure
printed today. You know, John tells us he's having a problem with his internet, but he's working on it.
I saw that.
Anyway, but what were you guys, any hot topics you guys were covering?
You know what I want to ask you, because you know, we're in the chat and I did a video on it, and you sell cards on the side here. You know, I try on a business, but what do you think? Because it doesn't really affect me at all. I mean, obviously, but it affects you and affects other people that sell cards. What do you think of the centering thing with PSA? Some people, like Ed Westergriff, commented on my video and said they've been doing this for a while now. You know, somebody just recognized it as a topic to bring up, but they changed it a while back. Tighter.
Did they just change the centering on the PSA 10, or did they go down the grading scale and change it?
They changed most of the standards for the grade. They changed the standards for most of the grades. That's what I want to say.
Well, I mean, you know, like I remember I have a Clayton Kershaw, a 2006 highlights PSA 10 rookie. And I looked at, I mean, it was local card shop and I got a deal on it, but I looked at it. And as soon as I looked at it, I said, boy, that thing's like 70-30. That's not like a PSA 10, you know, but I bought it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, all I can tell somebody is that PSA says it's a 10. And they say, oh, it wouldn't be a 10 today. And it's like, well, then go find a holder that has the extra cert number on it.
Well, let me ask you this, George. So I look at a card, it says 10 on but I can tell it's obviously not centered. So when you sell that card, do you get a 10 price, like a centered one? Or does people go, hey, that's not centered, and you give them a deal? You know what I'm trying to say?
I haven't come across any 10s that were as bad as this Kershaw that I own. I have.
But even ones that you can just notice, left to right, it's not centered. It's by the naked eye, it looks 60-40, and
at this point, people don't care.
people don't care.
They see the 10 and
They
they're
want the
buying the
10.
10.
Okay.
Maybe they're maybe the guy who's educated, he doesn't buy it. He looks at the cert number. But again, I'm not a big proponent, especially in vintage, of looking at the cert number and making some blanket determination that it's an older cert number, therefore the card is overgraded. That's absolutely not true. And if you operate that way, you're not looking at the card, you're looking at the number.
But let me ask you this. Let's say you're buying that card, okay? You're buying that 10, but you can see by the naked eye, it's off center. It's a 10. Are you paying up for that card? Or, that's a 10. Or are you telling the dealer, for me to sell it, I'm going to I need a little deal on this.
I haven't bought any cards in PSA 10s recently that were like that.
Okay.
I always try to buy centered cards where there's vintage
Sure.
or modern. But I did have a gentleman come to my table this weekend, and he bought 2 cards from me. Good cards: 55 Bowman Mantle, BBG 5.5, 56 Jackie, PSA 5. They were good centered cards that looked nice. And he was trying to trade me some stuff, and it was nothing to sneeze at. 56 Aaron, 56 Mays, 59 Mantle. Going through it with him, and it's just I'm looking at these cards, and they're off. They're lower grades, but they're off left to right. And I'm just like, no, just cash. We'll do cash. And then we tried to trade me a 59 Mantle. There was a 3 that was centered. When I flipped it over, it had a mark on the back that they missed. So I said, I can't sell this like this.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that uncentered cards are beautiful.
Why do you have all these problems with PSA? You're just scratching the surface of the stories that you've told us.
No, this was something as a guy was trying to sell me or do a trade, give me a card and trade.
Yeah, but you said it had a mark on the back.
It had a mark. I flipped up over the mantle and it had a mark on the back. I said, I can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Except send it back to PSA and go through the process. And I said, well, I can't give you credit for this. You're going to have to go through the process yourself.
Yeah.
So
Mookie said my Wi-Fi is minimum size. Mookie, I'll tell you this. I have AT&T, and it is awful. It's like at my other place, I have different Wi-Fi. I will upload a video at my other place in about a half a minute. Here, sometimes it'll take 10 minutes. Sometimes it's taken an hour. But, man, I loaded up on their stock when they tanked. And so I have a fondness for them now.
Is this your loft of baseball, little slice of baseball heaven?
Yeah, I've been organizing, but I've been organizing for like 3 months. Like I'm in never-ending organization mode, and I'm the only one that uses this area. It's like the whole upstairs. I have a bedroom to lay down and watch some YouTube if I get tired. I have a card room. I have my own bath. I have everything but a kitchen up here, and so this is part of it. Over here, I have more boxes, and I have trunks. And then over here, I have more boxes. This closet is packed with sets. And I'm talking like old sets, not like this isn't all my more modern sets, like 90s. Most of my 90s, 2000s are at a different facility.
Hey, let's.
So none of this is junk wax.
Nice. Well, Rick, you've got a great
Like
setup.
the garages that you see stacked to the hilt and back.
I don't even near the cards that John has.
I have
probably my whole collection right there behind him.
I'm stupid. Like I have way too much. I'll be the first to tell you I'm a bit of a hoarder.
Well,
when it comes to cards, I don't hoard anything.
Has anybody talked about the thievery in the hobby tonight? Have you guys talked about the problems that are happening? I made a video before I went to Ontario, but I couldn't upload it because my internet's like yours, John. It's terrible. And it was part of my video was the thievery and burglaries and stuff going on in the hobby right now. I'm not sure if you guys talk about that at all, or you maybe you're
didn't.
aware.
But that's why I invested my money in AT&T instead of PSA 10s. It's hard to steal my stock.
That's
But I had a
true.
card stolen recently, as you know, and I'm still sad about it. Now, I'm not out money. I didn't have the card yet, but it was stolen at the UPS center in Riverside. What is it? Next to
Riverside,
Burbank.
California.
Yeah, Riverside, California. Stolen from the UPS center. And the seller told me that was the second card he had stolen in the mail in 2 weeks. And of course, we just heard news that somebody was busted for stealing cards from UPS. I would never send cards from UPS. When I found out the seller used UPS, I was sick because I'm always worried when it goes UPS. I'm always worried. I've heard so many heists out of their centers. I know back home growing up, I knew guys that got in trouble for doing that. This card, I may never see another one. It's that rare. It's that rare. So it's not the money or anything like that. I'm sick to my stomach that I'm not going to have this card. I'm just sick over it. Like they could have stolen literally anything else I ordered, anything, and I could have replaced it, but not this one.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, he works for the Postal Service, but this is prior to him working for the Postal Service. He loves 40 play ball, and he had happened upon on eBay a Mathewson 40 play ball in a 6.5, and it was like there's like 3 higher. And then he paid for it immediately, and it was shipped to him. And when he got it, the guy didn't pack it very well, and the center of the slab was cracked right down the middle, and the front part of it, and then there's a cut on the Mathewson on the card. And he just is like, he couldn't even take it. He just he called me and vented, and then he just put it in the corner of his bedroom and had a couple more banquets and fell asleep for the night. And he woke up the next morning hoping that it would be different, and it wasn't. But sometimes, you can't replace the stuff, right? And so when you buy something from somebody online, if I really, really want the card and it's rare, I'm like, please, please, please package it this. I tell them how to package it, honestly, because you never know. I mean, I received a Satchel Paige jersey card today, and somebody just had it in a top loader and dropped it in a really skinny bubble mailer and sent it to me. And I'm like, it's a Satchel Paige.
It's amazing. We should do a whole show on that. These sellers, because there's so many new sellers who don't know cards. They're all jumping on the bandwagon. And some of the shit I get in the mail just blows your mind. You have like a holder that's brand new, scratched up, no protection on it, something dropped in an envelope, cards sent loose, like all kind of craziness. And it's bad. And one of my pet peeves is when somebody, you don't have to wrap the card in so much tape and so much stuff to protect it. One of my pet peeves is when they wrap it so tightly in tape everywhere,
and they use clear tape.
You don't know where to cut. You don't know where the card is inside.
Yeah, blue tape, please. Blue.
If it's
color
bigger,
tape.
no. I'm talking the outside, like the package. You don't know where you have to cut because they protect it, but you have to understand somebody has to open this package. Where are you going to cut if you don't know where the card is in there? You know what I mean? Like
they've mummified it.
Yes, and it's like you don't even know where to cut because it's so tight and so small, right? Because
you poke anything in there, you're going to damage the slab, damage the card.
Here's the other pet peeve, and this has been happening to me several times. So those envelopes that have the little ripper, like they have the tabs, and you just rip it right open, right? They'll tape over that thing and tape the rest of it up, and you can't open it. And this is what I'm talking about. And they're not that big. So let's say that you have a wide pen premium in there. You don't know if they put it in a top loader, if it's in there loose, if it's in a soft sleeve, or where it is inside of there. Did it shift? Like, is it perfect? So you have to try to cut that open because they taped over the opener. And you could damage cards that way. It's great that you mummify it,
but you have to understand as a seller, somebody has to open this thing. I mean, just put it between two pieces of cardboard, wrap a rubber band this way, rubber band this way. You don't need freaking tape. I hate tape.
The ancients were like, listen, nobody's going to unwrap this Tut guy. They're not going to unwrap him.
Yeah.
Let's just mummify him like a.
You know what? I should have just sent it to Egypt.
I'm going to go get another drink real quick.
Okay.
Rick, you still here?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave, and when you come back, I have to leave.
Well, no, I want to get your opinion on the theft and the hobby real quick after just give me a second.
All right.
Maybe we need an old man pee break
I know, huh?
and come back.
Intermission.
Intermission. Do you need one?
No, I'm all right. I already went.
Okay.
When I snuck out. to
You
get a
went when you
card,
were sitting there.
Yeah.
While you were sitting there.
I got one of those bags. Yeah. The stadium bags.
What's he want to talk about? Theft.
I don't know. You know, when I send in these cards to like Probstein or something, they go to the same PO box, and whoever's working at the postal service, you know, who knows? You know, they know what's in there because they get a ton of boxes each day. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, you know. It's a crapshoot, and I insure the box, not so much what it's worth, but just to protect me a little bit when I'm sending through the mail, you know, for insurance purposes. But you know, you're putting Probstein on there, you're putting a PO box, and
Yeah, I mean, people know what to
anybody
look
would
for.
know that works at the post office where it's going. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, if your name's
and
Joe
what's in it, what's in it?
you know, your return name is Joe's Sports Cards. They know what's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a secret anymore. Like this
Right.
used to be kind of like we all lived under the radar, and now this is in Forbes magazine. This is in the Wall Street Journal. Did you see what this card went for? You know,
I will tell you when I found out that card went UPS, I just knew something was going to go wrong. I just had a feeling because I nobody sends me cards UPS. That was the first one that I can remember. Because you can say what you want about the postal service, but I've only ever had one package stolen from the postal service, and that was in the early 2000s.
yeah, I've never. Well, I mean, you know, I know it's supposed to be a federal crime, but USPS is a federal crime. You know, the others are like independent contractors.
Yeah, the guys that work in the warehouses at UPS, I mean, they've done this many times over the years. So
Most of those, a lot of those auction houses, I say most of them do UPS or FedEx. They don't do
they do UPS.
UPS or FedEx. And these are big boy cards too. They're not.
Yeah,
That's the first UPS I can remember. I don't know.
Are you guys bidding on anything in the Heritage's Platinum Night auction coming up here Saturday, Sunday?
That sounds too expensive for me, man. Platinum? Nah, I'll stick to silver.
Okay, I shouldn't say that, Rick. Anything you get your eye on, not that you have to tell us, but
No.
Okay.
What are you talking about, Rick? You bid on every auction.
No, I
He's
put
lying.
placer bids on there, but just to kind of actually see what they go for.
Mhm.
That's all.
No, you put bids, and then Sunday night you get a few drinks in you, and you start bidding it up.
Yeah,
I've done that a
crazy.
few times.
There's a really nice 28 Yingling Gehrig in an 8, highest graded, that is going off. It's probably supposed to be
I
like
just saw one. There was one on eBay in like a 5, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it went for like $5,000.
I think it went for 10.
It went for 10.
I
Did you
think,
see it?
yeah, I know because we actually had one in a 7 that we sold to Ash 2 days ago.
It was a beauty. That 5 was a beaut.
Yeah.
There's a 502 Garrick on eBay right now in a 7, I believe. It's the same image.
Well, the 502s are very scarce too. Nobody ever talks about
In a
that.
7. It's
I
going
have a
for big
bunch of
money
those
right
in-
now.
When I look up the pops, they're low.
So, Rick and John, what the Yingling is one of the 4 ice cream brands. What's the 507? What is that?
It's a 502. It's a strip card with the
Okay.
same image. Same image, just doesn't
Yeah,
have
they
the
look identical.
advertisement back on it.
No, the five aren't a strip card.
Hmm?
They were a game. They have like one bagger, single.
Well,
I think they're.
I mean,
I don't think they were strip cards.
yeah, okay. I'll say they're
I mean-
labeled as a W502, but
Mhm.
they're not hand cut like a typical strip card.
Yeah, I don't believe they were strip cards. But
No,
they,
yeah.
they could have been, but I don't.
But
think
there's
they
no
were.
backing to them. It's the same image. They just don't have the advertisement on the back, blank back.
Yeah, they have a game. Like
Well,
single,
some of
one
them,
bagger.
not all of them, right?
Well, that's true. They have blank bags.
Mine,
But I've never
I have
seen-
one that doesn't have.
They're all like perfect size. All the ones
Like
I have, all the ones
that
I've
image?
seen. That's why I don't think
Yeah.
they were hand cut.
Yeah.
I have that. I have one in a 5 that's a 502.
Yeah, so you have the 502 game back, the 502 blank back, all the same image. Sweetman's, the rarest, Yingling, Harringtons, and
Thorpe.
Tharps.
And they're
That was the one we had.
George, your numbers don't impress me.
We
Just give me
sold
the
that
card.
though. No, it sucks because we sold it and it's
Give me
like,
one and a 3.
yeah, I know. Well, I told Petty this. I saw Petty there. I said, Petty, you got to look at this card over there we got. And he's like, oh, I'm looking for a Kabumi, but I
Well,
already
he
have
has-
that one in a 2 or something.
Yeah, he has that card. I was gonna say.
And then somebody came up to him right in front of me and said, Mike, when are you going to trademark Kabumi? I'm like, you probably should.
He's funny with that Kabumi.
Yeah, it was good to see him.
There he is.
There he goes.
Mike, you didn't want that 7?
I knew I'd draw him out.
what did you sell the 7 for?
I don't know, that in a bag of chips.
Nah.
Yeah, Ash ended up buying it off of us.
No, I got you.
But he's got it up now on his Facebook. And he has a reasonable price on it, frankly. Have you ever seen this, John, Rick? This is a 73 World Series Willie Mays, right? 74, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
73 series, right?
Yes.
And a guy came up to me with all this, quote, rare stuff, and it's a wrong back. It's a William Howard Sharp back,
Oh, cool.
not a William Howard Taft back. But
yeah,
Yeah.
so
those wrong backs are interesting. It's always funny how that happens.
yeah, he said he wanted a significant amount of money, and I was like, well, that's not for me.
You know what? Some of these people that have a blank back or wrong back, I mean, they try to get like thousands for them, over what they sell for. And I don't know. I haven't run into too many people. Like, it's cool to have them, and I have some. And for the right price, they're cool to have. They're like a novelty, but I would never pay up for that back like that.
yeah, exactly. It's a novelty. It's not like, if there was a whole cult of wrong back collectors, I get it.
Right.
Not that
Yeah.
wrong back collectors are part of a cult, but I think they're cool. I have an 82 Topps Ricky Henderson with a Neil Allen back.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Of
I
course,
have several of them, but I've never paid up for them. It's like
I told that to the maze guy who was looking for like 4 figures for that maze. I said, well, I've got an
Really?
82 Ricky Henderson that's got a Neil Allen back. And he says, oh, those are really common. Like, just dismissive, like, oh, they're common.
Just because something's rare doesn't mean it's valuable or in demand.
How about this one?
Yeah, why don't you sell me that one? Johnny Ray was one of my favorite players growing up. And Barry Bonds was another one when he was with the Pirates.
Poor old Johnny Ray.
I'll take a 5. I don't care.
I remember when you got that slab, Rick.
I know. I made out like a bandit.
Yes, you did.
You should flip that to me.
You don't buy that kind of stuff, man. It's too
Yes, I
expensive.
do. I'm actually watching some on eBay right now. They just want an arm and a leg for that card. It's ridiculous.
It is pretty, because it's not, I don't know what the pop, the pop was like 150, 200, 250 of them. It's not
Yeah,
like
well, they want to
rare.
They want so much for. I'm not talking a 10, or the only one in a 10. I'm talking like 7s and 8s. They want a lot.
This is a good looking. Oh, it has a little ding, little white spot down there. That's why.
Yeah, it's a 5. I mean, come on.
I
Give
could
it to
turn that.
Kurt.
I could turn that baby into an 8.
I think this would go. I don't know. Was it probably what? I think $600, $700 now, roughly. I don't know. I'd
If
probably pay
Bonds-
300
If
for it.
Bonds get in the, gets in the
probably-
hall.
Probably because they're asking well over 1,000 for like a 7 or something. 7, 8. Those go for over 1,000. Well, I don't know if they go for that. I don't have VCP,
But they're
that's
not,
what
like
they
it said, they're
ask
not.
for.
They're not that. I mean, when we talk about rare, like 20, 30, 50, those Yinglings, there's
Yeah.
30 of them, whatever. This 150, 200, whatever they are,
Mhm.
PSA.
Well, I mean, nobody even cares about the total card anymore. It's PSA
Hmm.
rare these
Yeah.
days.
Well, here's one that a guy was offering up. Nice copy.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I took a picture because we were close. I
How
mean,
much?
This same guy bought him a Holmes RPA, college RPA off me, and he didn't whip this out. It's like we probably could have worked, maybe I give him the RPA and some cash and he rolls me the Garrick, but the
What's he
deal
want
was
for
already
it?
done.
What's he want for it? Do you mind saying?
I think that he wanted for this one like over 7. Like it's basically, I think it sold for 5,500 recently, and he wanted
5,500 seems like a steal for that.
There
card.
is a steal.
he wanted over 7 for it, and it was a nice one. I mean, to me, left to right, whatever. But I mean, you realize, even though I would like to think that I influenced Dylan to be the centering snob that he has now become. I am like, this doesn't matter. Centering doesn't matter on this too much. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I can't see it really well, but I'd pay $5,000 for that if it looks good.
Oh no, I told him. I said I'd give you 5,500 for it, and he's like, "Well, that's what I bought it for." So that didn't work out. But a real nice guy, by the way. Yeah, some of these guys, they're walking around. They've got like a lot of really awesome cards, and they're really cool guys. They're really like easy to deal with.
Yeah.
And some people are not. I mean, I had a guy come up to me who's a buyer, and he just is disconnected because he's probably so well off. He offered me $8,900 for 3 cards, and I said no. And I would normally, like, my wife would be like, "What are you doing?" But no, I'm like, no, these cards are worth 10.5. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. And then cards are going to sell. Like in LA, a Koufax rookie's going to sell, right? As long as you're reasonable. Anyway, not that you guys care about this, but it's just interesting experiences with.
No, I care about it.
The public.
I think everybody watching cares about it.
I try to,
Anybody want to show some cards?
I can go get some cards if you want. Can you give me a minute?
Yeah.
John, you looks like you've got plenty behind you.
I got a few.
Rick can do it. Come on, Rick.
I gotta get going. When George comes back, I gotta get going.
Rick, it's 7:24 there.
I know, but it's dinner time. It's been.
Rick, Rick, go get your food. You can eat it on camera.
Yeah, we get on camera. Come on.
We'll have dinner together.
Come on, Rick.
I've been on. We've been on for 2 hours. What are you talking about?
Okay, guys, we're gonna take an intermission here. Rick, you can go. You're dismissed. Thanks for joining.
Okay.
We're gonna take a brief intermission. We'll be back and show some rare cards. I'm gonna gather some up.
All right.
So stick around.
What's up with that? I'm busy. I need to go through it. Why work it here? No. I'm going to take a quick check. I'll be back.
I need to put some. I need something about this big.
It's intermission. Allegedly. All right. Come on, John. Take some rice, put in a bowl. Right? Then take chicken and cut it up with a knife, fork, don't hurt yourself. Put the chicken thigh. Here. There you go. All right.
All right, I'm back. Anybody still with me? I got this book.
Yeah.
I got this box I'm going to go through. I haven't looked through it in a long time.
Well, you know what's funny to me is at these shows, guys walk around with Pelican cases. So you already know they're a target. Now they got these Pelican cases with like 4 cards you can see inside it. Like, hey, look, I got this short print Shohei and a 10. I'm not understanding this, but maybe I'm just an old man. Oh, nice.
I got this is an Archie Vaughn when he was with Brooklyn. Oh man, the lighting sucks here. Team issue photo. Here is a grape nuts. You don't see these all the time. Let me set this.
You know what?
So this
John?
was
Go
this was
ahead.
a grape nuts premium, and it came in this brown leather, and it is a picture of Dizzy Dean.
Well, that is sweet. Grape Nuts Premium.
See, I like to have what it came in because I don't know if those are. That's the only one I've ever seen, so I don't know. These are 1930 stadium issues of Rogers Hornsby, and you don't see these too often.
So those are those picture packs?
And Hack Wilson.
Are those premiums or picture packs?
I don't know if they were sold individually or in packs. I don't know that in 1930. I know later on they were sold in packs.
Yeah, because I have.
I'm not sure.
When did Dean play for the Cubs? Or did he manage or pitching coach for them?
Dizzy Dean?
Yeah, he was with the Cubs. There's a Cubs picture pack I have from like
Oh, he must have been a coach.
late 30s.
I don't think he
And
played.
he's
for
with
them.
these 2 guys, and I can't remember the picture packs going back much earlier than the 30s, late 30s. But I could be wrong if anybody in the chat wants to pipe up.
Hey, this is cool. This is a original press photo of George Sisler with Washington, and he only played for Washington for like 20-some games.
Yeah.
I think 23 games.
Mm-hmm.
So there cannot be a lot of press photos of him in a Washington uniform.
Why
And
don't
you know
that-
what?
that's
I
a-
didn't even realize that when I got it. It was a
Mhm.
total accident because had I known that or thought about it at the time, I would have been even more excited to pick that baby up.
that's a Type 1 then, you believe?
Oh yeah, that's a Type 1.
Yeah. Here's a Campanella auto from Front Row.
Oh yeah, front row cards are cool.
Yeah, helped by his wife, of course, because obviously this is from '92. This is actually
Yeah.
right before his death, frankly. But anyway, thought it was cool. Picked it up at the show. Is anybody watching? Or everybody just say, "Listen, forget you guys."
My cat wants to be on me. Yes, he does. Here is a Gaudi Premium Babe Ruth. You
And
ever
so
see
that's
these?
just hanging around, just hanging around.
These are stand-ups.
Oh yeah, There's a guy at one of the shows who has one of those.
But here is the American League team, and this has Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Foxx, Babe Ruth, Connie Mack, all those guys.
The premium.
Same deal.
Very cool. We're at different points of the
How about
spectrum.
these W555s? I have the Lou Gehrig in the other room, but here's Hack Wilson. And
hold it up. I want to see. Let me see the hold it up. Like I want to see. Is it authentic? Does it have a grade?
Oh, this is VG 3.5.
But that's new. Did you get that?
These were
slab?
hand cut.
Did you buy that recently?
No, several years ago.
Several years ago. Okay.
I have some others. Here's Burley Grimes and Mickey Cochran and Lefty Grove. And then, like I said, I have the Lou Gehrig. I had years and years ago, I had the Babe Ruth. And I did not know much about them at that time. They didn't have pop reports. I had no idea how rare these were.
Is that a Butterfinger? You said?
No, I have a whole bunch of Butterfingers. No, this was which one?
What you were just showing me.
Those are W555s.
Okay.
They have the same images as the 1929 Cash, and except they're bigger.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger.
And there are a few different versions. There are some ad backs that are rare. And then this, this is the only card that was the package. These Overland Candy. Here's Jimmy Foxx. So that was a candy wrapper. And whoever had this one, they just barely cut the corner to get the candy out. So it's in full form. And this one's in full form too. This is Phil Cavaretto.
Mm-hmm.
And these are super, super rare. I've never seen another. Well, when you see them, like the Jimmy Foxx, you'll usually see them cut here, because people cut them there to get the candy out, and they would save the upper part.
Yeah.
So they're really hard to find the whole thing. Oh, you said Butterfinger. Here's a Babe Ruth. I have two of them.
Nice.
I have a PSA one.
My local.
I have one in a PSA slab too.
At my local card shop, they had a Butterfinger Dizzy Dean just sitting there, and it was super cheap. And so I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, and they even said Butterfinger, and it was like $50.
I love the Dizzy Dean. That was the first one I ever got years and years ago. Did you ever see one of these? So they had the viewfinders when we were growing up. These are those old stereoscopes where you would put something at the end, and this is Babe Ruth and Tom Mix. The stereo, the Keystone, Eye Comfort, and Depth Perception series.
The Depth Perception series.
Yeah, you would put it at the end of. I need to get one of those too.
I wish we had a theme here. I'm not. Oh yeah. I'm not on the theme. Here's a 65 Hank autographed.
Yeah, show some cards.
VG3 Auto 8, but Auto looks better.
Nice. You like your autos.
Well, I'll tell you what is funny. I like my autos, and they sell really well online, but they don't sell at shows very well. It's kind of interesting.
They don't?
You have to have like somebody looking for them.
But they're so popular now.
They say they're popular, but I really wonder sometimes how popular they truly are. Like when it comes to people putting their money where their mouth is, I don't see that being the case. Maybe that's just me. It's got to be a special auto. It's got to be on something special.
Well, I mean, I'm only going by what I hear people saying because I'm not a big auto collector, so I don't watch too many auctions. I pick them up here and there. Just depends what it is.
This
Like
is a good one.
that Venezuelan Pete Rose I got from you. That's a special one because
Yeah,
Pete Rose signed
money.
Pete Rose signed everything, so I wanted his auto on a rare card.
There's 4 of them, John.
Yeah.
There's only 4 still, and not to be any more unearthed, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
This guy who showed me this card had a Shohei auto, and I bought this instead of the Shohei because I could have bought both of them, but because my childhood was calling me, I'm like, I love this card. Somebody will love this card too.
I love it.
Auto 10, card's a 7, but it's centered pretty good. But they had the Shohei they had, he was offering to sell me for $700. Shohei autos go for like $1,500.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Gwen's really cool.
Yeah. The funny thing is Shohei will sign 12 million things by the time he leaves this earth.
It's true, but the amazing. He's just an amazing player, and so I don't know why they would ever have him pitch in their game, frankly. But that's just me.
This is kind of cool. This is what are these things called? Man, people love these things.
Oh, the Hall of Fame plaque postcards.
I'm not into them, but I know people love them. But this is Stan Musial, and it's from Stan Musial's personal collection.
That is cool.
And that's why I want
the coolest Stan Musial. One of the only things I put in my PC recently. I came across this Dan, the front row show had the guy who runs it had in his case a 53 red man Stan Musial, autographed by Musial.
Nice.
So I got that. It was a 3, and the auto was not graded. The auto got a 10, but there's just very few Redmans that are autographed.
Yeah.
And
those are beautiful to get autographed too, man. Because the oversized stuff, the autos look way better, in my opinion.
Musial's real big, but you bought a Campanella in New Jersey, right?
No,
a Redman Campanella. I was with you. You bought it. It was either New Jersey or the last one. You bought a Redman.
Oh,
Campanella.
I thought you meant an auto. I do have a Campy Redman, but I don't think I got it at the National. I don't remember getting one at the National
in New Jersey. No, I could be wrong and be okay.
I don't think so. I do have a Campy, but yeah, I got it before I even went to a National, I think.
Ah, gotcha.
So did you ever see these? These are in 1947 Sport Exchange.
Yeah,
they're kind of rare. So there's 2 different versions. They have the regular cards. Now this is an uncut sheet, and this one has Phil Rizzuto and Pee Wee Reese are the 2 biggest players on here. Ooh, Blackwell. But this is what the cards look like in the sheet, and they're hand cut. And they're scarce. And then this is the oversized one, and this is Spud Chandler.
Wow.
So these are the 2 versions. I try to get one of every card, right?
Yeah. Here's a Roy Halladay auto. I mean, can't get him anymore.
Yeah.
Really nice. The Blue Jays.
Damn shame what happened to him, huh?
Yeah, it was in a binder full of all these autos. This guy went in the 90s and early 2000s with his son across the country. Puckett was in there, Gwynn, Halladay, Caminiti, and other guys, Chipper and Mariano and all that. It was a great binder.
Yeah, so Arnold Palmer is, from our area. That's where my wife had our wedding shower. And when I was young, my mom, not too young, I was in my 20s, but my mom, reached out to him and asked if he'd send some autographs. And I have a couple of them here with the envelope he sent them in. And what she did was she bought me a book, and she took one of these and put it inside the book. So it's a sticker auto. It's not an on-book auto. But she got me his book for Christmas or my birthday or something, and my mom was always good about doing stuff like this. So
I had a collection
I-
right, a really cool. It was the Vantage Open, the Vantage cigarettes from probably like the early to mid '80s, and it was him and Trevino. Some artist had rendered a really cool drawing of them, and he's holding up his hand, and Trevino's with him, and they both signed it. And I sold that, but I kind of regretted it because the auto was. I mean, Arnold Palmer's autograph is unmistakable. It's amazing.
he was such a nice guy. I mean, I hung out with him. He was so gracious, down to earth, humble, just such a nice guy.
Mhm.
And he was, he'd bebop around his country club. He'd talk to everybody. I got stuck in a rainstorm with him for like a half an hour. He happened to be in the foursome behind me, so we just hung out and talked. It was awesome. This is I need to remember his name. I'm drawing a blank. This is cool though. Stratton, Marty Stratton. Do you know his story?
No, I do not.
Okay, so he was a pitcher, and he was out hunting and shot himself in the leg and lost a leg. Had a prosthetic and made a comeback. Playing minor league baseball and pitching on one leg. And Jimmy Stewart played him in the Marty Stratton story. I can't remember. I think it's called that, but it might have a different name. I forget. But this is an original photo of him when he was making his comeback. Press photo.
Wow. With the prosthetic leg.
What was his Monty Stratton?
I have a young colleague who I trained, and he's older now. But when I trained him, he told me the story about how his mother was like a nurse, and she would go, and he was a big baseball fan as a kid, and his mother was a nurse. She would go take care of these different older gentlemen, and their different people and different problems and stuff. So he would go with her and tag along. And then so he's tagging along with her, and then he comes across this older gentleman, and he's just kind of a crotchety old man. And he was talking to the son who I was training at work, and he says, "Hey, you ever watch baseball?" He says, Yeah, I play baseball. You play Little League? Yeah, I play Little League. And he says, "Well, I used to play minor league baseball. I never made it to the big leagues, but I played minor league baseball in the 1940s. And I played against a lot of good players, but this is what I remember. Come over here and look at my shin." And he showed him his shin, and he had a big indention in his shin. And he says, "You know what that is?" And he says, "No." He says, "When I was playing, there was in the minor leagues, there was a guy, and he was played for the Montreal Royals, and his name was Jackie Robinson, and he spiked me right there." I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me. That's the most awesome story. And, truth or not, I mean, the guy was the right age, and the kid that I was training, he was the right age to be the grandson, or to be that age. And I was just like, every time I see him at work, I say, "Hey, tell me that Jackie Robinson story again."
So I got to show you this. This is something that's unique. I don't usually collect this kind of stuff, but it was gifted to me, and I think it's so cool. So Fred Clark for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
So I have here a series of his books that he signed. He had a farm after baseball, and it's an itemized income statement, basically, with his signature. I get a series of his documents from like the 1920s, probably.
Fred Clark.
I mean, he it's still paper clipped together, his handwritten itemizations. Yeah. But he had to sign these documents for the bank or whoever. So they have his signature on them. Kind of interesting pieces. Pick a box. I'll go next after you show some cards.
Well, did I show you my Dodgers book? Did you see the Dodgers book yet?
I don't think so.
It'll take a second. Hold on.
This is cool. So I have a book. It's called I think it's called Baseball Americana. I have it in another room. Did you ever see that book, Baseball Americana? Stuke, you'll know. It has baseball cards in there. It has a history of baseball, and it had the first, like a famous female baseball player. She played on a team outside of Pittsburgh in New Kensington. So New Kensington, PA, is where my family is from, and I have a cousin who she female played on her little league team in New Kensington. So when I saw this woman in this book, it struck a chord with me. That's my area. I hung out there all the time, and so I went to look for any kind of item I could find on her, and her name was Miss Myrtle Rowe, and I found this original photograph. It's a newspaper photograph used in the local newspaper showing Miss Myrtle Rowe playing with the boys. And it has a write-up on the back. That might be the only one in existence. I don't think there's too many press photos from the Valley Dispatch in New Kensington from the early 1900s.
Well, here's one for you. This is speaking of the ladies at the game, this is a Levon Pepper Pear auto.
I have it. I have the same one.
You probably have two, right? Like, I mean, I don't know like how much Gina Davis's character is modeled after her, but she played in the All-American Girls Baseball League.
Yep.
She was pretty big in that. So that's Levon Pepper Pear. And this is really cool. Speaking of that, the only woman that I know to win a men's baseball game, Indianapolis Clowns. This is a McDonald's set, but it's autographed by Mamie Peanut Johnson, who pitched the game, and she was a pitcher, and she played with the boys. I think she played with Hank Aaron.
Oh, is that right?
53 to 55, she played with the Indianapolis Clowns. Actually, no, Aaron would have played earlier. I'm sorry. He was in the Braves organization by 53. But anyway, Mamie Peanut Johnson is I think one of two women or the only woman to ever win an official men's game.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's kind of cool. That's actually one I really want to get slapped.
That was in the 50s?
Yeah, they still had the Negro Leagues are still playing in the 50s, right? Trying to figure out where their place was in America. Eventually, obviously, being contracted. But she was playing on the Clowns in the 50s. When that happened. Yeah, but she played in 53 to 55. So Aaron was already on his way. I think he played with the Clowns when he was like much younger. Well, he was young anyway. But look at that, John. You're just like, look at all this stuff. What do I grab?
What's in here?
Well, while you're grabbing some stuff.
I should just play Russian roulette. And
while you're grabbing some stuff, what is this? This is a Satchel Paige relic card. Oh, why do people do this? You ever see when people get stuff, they send it to you, they put stuff on the top like that? And if it ain't blue tape, don't do it. Don't do it. Just put blue tape on it. This stuff doesn't come off. It's hard. But anyway.
You familiar with the Walter Males game?
The what?
Walter Males game, 1923. Sometimes they're listed as 24, but I believe they're 23.
I'm gonna have to like mute myself. Hold on.
They were game cards, and they're pretty scarce. You could find them, but if you're looking for a specific player, you'll have a hard time. Of course, the Walter Johnson's the big one here. I think Rick just got a Walter Johnson at the National in Chicago. No, this past National. But this is Robert Moranville. This is the box they came in. They were like playing cards. Here's the rules. I have a bunch of these. I need to get that Walter Johnson, though. Maybe Rick will flip it. That's a cool set, a very scarce set.
That's really cool with the big train. Here's a little jersey card of Satchel Paige. Picked up recently. I think it's numbered to something. Numbered to 15. National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they're here. Oh man, I haven't looked at these in forever. These were at the bottom. See what these are. Nat Bladue.
Oh, Mechas.
Yeah,
Nice.
the double headers. Here's Trish
Double
Speaker.
folder.
Yeah, this box is full of those. Let's see what else we can do.
Like it's just sitting there. Just the Mecha doubleheaders.
I got a bunch of them. Oh, here are the cash-ins. You like the 1929 cash-ins?
Yeah. They're not bad. I remember I texted you about Sam Crawford.
They came in 4 different boxes, and I actually picked up another box. I'm waiting for it to come. But they have a checklist on the back, and every box had different players, I guess. So the checklist shows you which were on the yellow, which were on the blue, which were on the green. There are 4 different color boxes. Here's the Babe Ruth.
Oh, nice.
Here is Lloyd Wayner.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Lou Gehrig.
Well, thank God that's preserved in a slab, John.
Here's Jimmy Fox. Yeah, I'm going to crack them out.
Yeah, just put them in your binder.
Lefty Grove. A lot of
Nice.
people keep these in the oversized binders.
Yeah.
At least they did back in the day.
They're just
Here
so
is
paper thin and fragile.
Stook probably has his in a binder. Here's Rogers Hornsby.
Yeah, Hornsby.
Oh, I love this because this is a classic. I believe it's a Conlon pose, I believe, of Pie Trainer, but it's a classic image of him.
Oh, yeah. Now, is there a Gaudy image that looks similar to that?
The 33 Gaudi uses this image, but it's, painted on. Anyway, I have a whole box of these.
Well, here, let me show you this book.
Yeah.
Dodgers book, right? Los Angeles Dodgers. This is signed by 56 people, including, there's Marichal.
Oh, nice.
Dick Williams, Bob Feller. There's Reggie Smith.
I love Reggie Smith. When I was watching him, he was really good. He was a really good
Here's the
hitter.
Yogi. It's got a Yogi on it. Raleigh Fingers. Fergie Jenkins. There's the Yogi right there.
Nice.
It's signed by the only autograph in this. Oh, John, it's signed by Chuck Connor.
Oh, is that right?
The
The
rifleman.
rifleman.
Yeah, Chuck Connor, Mickey Owen, Clem Labine, Orlando Cepeda, Dusty Baker, Don Newcomb. And there's an autograph, the only one in pencil, says Jackie Robinson. It's not real. Joe Morgan, Johnny Padres, Cal Abrams, Don Sutton. You go, Ralph Kiner.
Oh, my man.
Andy Pafko, Sandy Amoros. It's got a Beckett letter, I want Gaylord Perry. But anyway, it's got the real cool stuff is inside. This is probably look at this. Gil Hodges, signed by Gil Hodges.
Nice.
See that? I mean, Gil Hodges, what did he die in 1972? 52 years ago. Walter Alston, signed right there. Oh. Alston.
Nice.
My personal favorite. Well, this is kind of a cool one. This is a picture of the Yankees, Yankee Stadium. And it's Don Larson, Moose Skowron, Hank Bauer, Ed Runge. And Larson, Runge, Bauer, Skowron. They just had him sign on the right stuff. This guy was really good about this.
I need to take this computer in my other room where I have my good stuff.
Maury Wills. I mean, it's just kind of cool, you know, like if you're a Dodger fan. But there's a really cool Hank Aaron, and I'll show you that. There's Pee Wee. This is the Hank Aaron. This is cool.
Oh, that is cool.
The Spawn's on the top, but the Hank Aaron would make, like, if somebody wanted to cut it up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really cool.
That's a great image. Never
Yeah,
saw that.
I never seen that. You don't see many Hank in the field. Anyway, the last page, I mean, you know, it's got like Garvey, Lopes, Say, Russell, Ferguson, and then a random.
I love Davy Lopes.
Random Brooks Robinson, right? Like here is Garvey, Say, Lopes, Ferguson, and a random Brooks Robinson in the upper corner.
Yeah.
Just randomly. This guy went to the Hall of Fame every year and got this book signed for years, I imagine.
Yeah.
Really good piece. You know, if somebody likes something like that. So, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, you just like see how people collect and what they love, and it just, you respect it, you know, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's so disheartening when you love something and you collect it and you have these pieces that are so hard to find or autographs so hard to get, and then they're worth nothing when you want to
Well,
sell
yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this. I had, you know, you saw that Cleveland Indians program I brought to the National, right? Showed you that?
Oh my God.
What's that?
Yeah, I gotta take a picture of this and show you. This is hilarious.
But
Hold
I
on.
finally was able to move this Cleveland Indians World Series program, but like a lot of people didn't want it, even though it was a really cool piece. What do you got?
This is my cat right now staring at me. She has one paw on the box I just put away, and she's looking at me with the craziest look.
Oh, she has one
Can you
paw.
see that?
That's the cash-in box, right?
Yeah, not the cash in the first box I showed.
Oh, that has the Dizzy Dean in it.
Yeah, but look at her. She's hilarious. Just staring at me.
Well, she's guarding it.
I know she has like one paw on it. You guard that good. Don't let anybody near it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Yeah, it's not. Well, this is
I have a box of 1951 tops here.
Stan
With a wrapper.
Musial. 51. Yeah, I got a wrapper too.
I love the 51 tops. I got a bunch of them when I was a kid at my local flea market, and just loved them ever since.
You used to be able to get into those for nothing.
Yeah, not anymore.
Absolutely nothing. Here's an Elgin Baylor autograph.
Oh, this is an interesting set. I don't know if you're familiar with this set. Let me make sure I didn't mislabel
John,
it.
real
Yeah.
quick. This is for you,
Oh yeah, man.
Dr. J.
I love that set.
Oh yeah.
I love that set. I think the last big card I need for that set, and I might have picked it up and forget, is the Kareem portrait. Because I'm not crazy about that card. I like the action one better, the All-Star, but I need that for my set. And I have to be, that might be the last card I need for the set. If not, I'm very close. Did you ever see these? These are the 1972 Pro Star. They were out of Canada. It's Clemente.
That looks familiar. That's really nice.
Here's the Stargell.
There was a guy at my local card shop today. He had a 72 Stargell and an 8.5. Man, it looked nice. Real nice. Here's a little Don Newcomb for you. 57 Don Newcomb auto.
Yep, nice. I got a lot of Don Newcomb as a kid because I knew about him.
Man, he
Reggie
was so
Jackson.
good. He was so good, and they just burned his arm out. Well, he pitched a lot, you know, in the Negro Leagues, but
Hey, tell me this Willie McCovey isn't cool.
oh, that's great. Well, that's an image. Yeah, you don't see that. That's great.
Very unique image. All these cards have unique images. Here's one for Stoke. I don't know, Stuke. Was this guy any good? Harmon Killebrew?
That's a good one.
I'm sure Stuke has that baby. Here is Frank Robinson, and that's the one year he went to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was in the Dodger
Is that
uniform.
74 or 73?
72. Here's Brooks
72,
Robinson.
yes.
Anyway, I got. I think I have the whole set. I don't know. I never checklist anything. I'm stupid. Then they also had these special Expo ones because these were out of Canada. So this is a second series. They might be the following year. They're slightly different. I forget. They might be the following year. They might be just a separate series.
I had a ton of Gary Carter autographs on different pieces, and I sold them, but I wish I kept them. Some of them.
Man, I love the Gary Carter 4-person rookie card. I don't know that it just takes me back to my youth.
Yeah, I had a 76 French postcard with his auto on it.
Oh,
And I was
yeah?
like, this is really like a cool piece. And I sold it, but probably should have asked a few more bucks. Just trying to look through some stuff.
Here you go. Here's some more modern stuff. I got all kind of sets back here, man. I swear I have like near sets of just about everything. These are some of, and I say some of because I have like several of them displayed elsewhere. But these are police issue. 1981 Lynn Swan.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize he has this card too because he had so few cards.
Yeah, he really did.
And you'll love these because these have those fantastic numbers on the top. What is it, a 10? This is John Stallworth. So I had to get the Swan and Stallworth for my Steelers. I know
as long as it's a 10, you're okay.
The lighting in here is terrible. I need my card room. And here is my man, Paul Coffey. I loved him.
Paul Coffey.
And here's Tom Barrasso.
Yeah.
But here's a cool one. This is these are both I believe rookies. Well, Victor might not call them rookies, but this is Dan Marino. And this is Barry Sanders.
Yeah, that's a rookie. I'm just saying the Diamond Yard.
I got who's it?
Rookie.
Oh, I got some Darryl Green here. I have another Barry Sanders. I have a Jerry Rice. I have the first Fernando Valenzuela. You probably have that one.
I met a guy whose son was named Fernando, and we're talking, and he bought some stuff off me, and he says, yeah, he's named after Fernando Valenzuela. And I'm like, Fernando, you go over there and pick out 3 cards, whatever you want, man.
His police issue cards are pretty cool, and they're cheap.
Oh, yeah. They were looking for an 81 Topps traded Fernando, and I did not have that.
How about some Sport Kings? You like the Sport Kings?
You got a real Sport Kings for me? I got like Jordans and Kobe's.
How about the rapper?
Oh, you get the rapper.
1933 Sport Kings.
Yeah, for sure. They you
The
got
first one I ever picked up.
Oh, the Cobber.
Yeah,
that's a great set. It really is.
I've had my eye on a Babe Ruth to get. Here's an autographed Carl Hubble.
And you've shown that many times, and that is a beautiful card.
It's
like
Duke.
I told you.
One for Double D.
Yeah, the Duke.
The Duke.
The real Duke. Hey, with that, I remember I think I texted you after you showed me that Hubble. I said, do you want to sell that? That thing's got like a population of like 4. It's a super low.
How much you give me?
Who is? Yeah.
You give me a Babe Ruth? Would you give me a 1986 Ricky Henderson and a 10?
I got an 82 Ricky Henderson and a 10. That's a big card.
How about Howie Morenz? A couple big
Nice.
hockey players from back in the day.
Yeah.
Walter Hagen.
Walter Hagen. You get
Oh, how about Tarzan?
Yeah, Johnny Weissmuller. Nice.
I need to get to. I really want to get a Jim Thorpe and a Red Grange.
I was years ago, I was going to buy the Red Grange and it was nothing. It was like a PSA 3 was like $300.
I have a fake Gene Sarazan because it doesn't have a number on it.
I have a Gene Sarazan putter. That's what I use.
Oh,
when
do
I
you?
I'm not kidding. It's heavy as shit, but it putts really well. I bought it at my local Goodwill, and I think it's from about 1950. It's a
No
Gene
way.
Sarazan. That's what I use.
Wow.
That's my putter. If we ever go,
Hey,
if you
whatever
were
works,
supposed
man.
to come out here to the Open, John, you were supposed to come out here. You and Mike Petty were supposed to be out here for the Open.
I forgot about that. Petty, did he come?
No, I
We
gave
never
him shit
talked
when I
about it
saw him in
again.
Orlando.
Ah, shit. All right,
Listen, where
George.
were
what do
you
think?
guys? Let's see here.
Oh, how about 1923 W572 set? These cards are tough.
Wait, you get strip cards, huh?
Yeah. There's Babe Ruth.
Oh wow.
Here's Grover Alexander.
Nice.
Here's Ty Cobb.
There you
I
go.
don't know if you could see this. This is terrible.
You're gonna have to hold that up. Here's a 1940.
I'm gonna let you show cards. Yours look-
Ennis.
Yeah, I have I have two of those because I went to a card show down here and I bought one and I totally forgot I already had it.
It's a beautiful Del Ennis.
So
Oh, here's that Satchel Paige. Remember that Satchel Paige I told you about? That was marked. This is
yeah.
marked. This is the authentic altered Satchel Paige.
Man, that does look like
It's beautiful. It's right there. You can't even see it.
well, not on here, but
I
I'm
mean,
sure you
it's
can't
like
see it in person
really
either.
nice card. I thought, holy cow, that thing looks way better. Oh, you like this one? This is Hank Greenberg.
I need that. I
It's
almost bought that from you
For
at the
sale
National.
now. For sale now.
I almost bought it from you at the National.
I think so.
I
I
was-
sold both those Clementes you were looking at. You and I were talking about some Clemente rookies I had. I had a really nice 2, and a really nice 2.5. I traded the 2.5 in Anaheim to a young man named Edison, and we did a great deal. And then Edison came up to me in Ontario, and he says, "Look at this." And he's got on his phone, he had Mike Baker look at the PSA 2 Clemente, and Mike Baker gave it a gold diamond.
Well,
And I'm
that's
like-
all that matters, man.
I said, "I told you it was nice, didn't I?"
I would never buy a card if Mike Baker didn't look at it.
I mean, that's how I know. Otherwise, I'm just like a deer in the
Well, the
wilderness.
one you showed
I've
me
got
was
no
really
idea.
nice. I was gonna buy it, but I already have one. But I was gonna buy it anyway because it was nice. But
Oh yeah, no, it was.
Wait a second. I have a recollection of wanting to buy that Hank Greenberg from you. Why didn't I?
Well, we had not had enough drinks.
You wanted too much money, maybe.
No, I got it from B. Roth. He hooked me up, and I was willing to sell it. But I mean, I'm looking for a better one. But anyway, I don't know why we didn't buy it. You pulled the trigger on the Venny Rose quick. You knew that was like a fleeting asset. But the rest
Yeah, well, I
of it-
wanted that Venny anyway, and then you had it autoed. So
let me show you a rare Shohei Ohtani card that you may never see. This
all right.
is called the
Well,
hand
how can
on
I not
helmet.
see? How can I never see it if you're going to show it to me?
This is the hand on helmet photo variation of his flagship rookie.
Well, I have not seen it.
Super short print, only 69 graded by PSA total, 17 10s. This is a 9. But anyway,
How much
No.
for it? What are you
it's
selling it for?
over 4,000.
Over 4,000?
Yeah, it's Shohei, man.
Jesus.
I know. Well, I mean,
It's tax time, George. You got to give me a break.
no, that's why I gotta say it's 5,000. It's one of the most rare Shoheis.
I had a really good year in the stock market, and I'm a little nervous for my taxes. I haven't sent them to my accountant yet. I'm postponing.
Here's the good news, John. The good news is, like my accountant used to say, if you have to pay a lot of taxes, it means you did well.
No, I know that. I used to tell my mom, "Hey, I'd be happy to be the highest taxpayer in the whole country, no problem." But until you have to pay it, though, then it kind of sucks. It sneaks
Yeah,
up
but
on
it's
you.
been a long time since people have like had to like do this. People have been struggling, man. Like really. So it's okay. It's okay to do well. Oh, I showed you this, right? This is a Clemente bat card. It's a leaf card. People don't like leaf, but did you see this?
Oh yeah, you sent us a
I
picture.
mean, like it's a
I think it's so
full-on
cool.
bat.
I know it's so cool.
And I bought this off a dude, and they're like, "Oh, leaf cards this." I'm like, "No, if this doesn't sell, I'll just keep it. I'm good with it."
Yeah,
It's
it's a really
so
cool card.
interesting, right?
Heck
I
yeah.
mean, look at that.
How much? What's your most expensive card? What's that room worth?
What? No,
I'm
this
just,
is
I'm
just
just giving you the questions I
this
get.
is just inventory. Well, we sold the Yingling Lou Gehrig. I mean, that was the big one. That was the big boy. I sold a Koufax rookie in a 7.
This comment's hilarious. It says it reminds him of the movie The Crossroads. It's cutting heads with cards instead of guitars.
Hey, we're just doing our best out here, trying to stay alive. This is a wilderness.
I'm getting tired, man.
Wait, I got a Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, I have that.
PSA
Card.
9. It's a big card.
I'd like to get another one. Mine's a little off center, top to bottom.
Well, you like this. I've been doing a lot of these O-Pee-Chees lately.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, it's a 6.5. I got it on Greg Morris for like a song.
I have so I like to buy my O-Pee-Chees and hockey cards in KSA holders. I just love to get my O-Pee-Chees in KSA since they're from Canada. So I have that in a KSA 8.
Yeah, I would love to see PSA just poop on that because they're just a bunch of idiots, right? Like
I'll tell you, this card's so sharp.
Yeah, I bet it is. I mean, like it's just ridiculous what they do. Oh, here's a Venny.
One of so I have my Gretzky rookie. My tops is in Beckett, and then I got the O-Pee-Chee in a KSA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's just a thing for me. If I'm going to get it graded, the O-Pee-Chees, I like to get them in a KSA.
Yeah, why not have it graded by the company where the kids who are grading cards grew up opening those cards?
Well, I'll tell you, they probably graded a hell of a lot more O-Pee-Chee than PSA because many people didn't even hear of O-Pee-Chee till more recently.
OPC.
I mean, you take Double D, Dylan, he'll tell you. He used to think they were fake cards. He just started appreciating them.
It's like it shows. I give the young kids. I go to the bank and get $102 bills, and then I give kids change in $2 bills, and they look at me like it's just messed up. I love it.
I remember when they came out with that thing.
Here's a nice Venny Hank Aaron 64.
Double D. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Oh, and I got one more Venny for you. You're gonna like this. Keep it in your pants. But anyway, here you go. I mean, the back is destroyed, right?
It's not signed?
But the front is beautiful.
Yeah, I have that one. That was the first Clemente card I ever saw. I have like 3 or 4 of them, and I have the Venny.
Yeah, you got to get the Venny.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Dylan is up. For Dylan, what time is it right now? So here in
I don't
Phoenix.
know. What time is it in Hawaii?
Well, it's 9:15 in Phoenix, so it's probably in Hawaii. It's probably 5:15. 6:15.
Oh, this is a cool card. I have a box of Modern here. This is a Aaron Judge mini.
In a tent?
Yeah. That's the mini. I love minis.
I agree. It's 6:15. Dylan just having coffee. and some cards.
Get some shiny ones. Bryce Harper,
Nice.
Altuve. Oh, this is a autograph Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto was a heck of a pitcher, man.
Anthony Rizzo. Bradley Jr. Who else do I have? Oh, here's a Chris Sale.
Yeah.
I was a big Sale fan when he first came up.
Well, that's his rookie card, right?
Yeah. And here is McCutcheon. Big
McCutcheon. John's showing a McCutcheon, Gavin.
Oh, how about this? Oh man, I need to get some better holders for these. I got the these Aaron Judges, the black and the regular,
Mm-hmm.
and this auto of him. Love that card.
Auto. Nice.
This is a Leaf, but this is the numbered one. What's this thing numbered to? 25?
Nice. Check this Barry Sanders card out I bought. 2022 Flawless Patches. Look at this patch.
Nice.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I only bought it because it numbered whatever. It's numbered to 20.
Did they get that patch at Dick's?
I did. I got it over at Dick's. I took a razor blade from Harbor Freight. I cut it open. I took some glue, Gorilla Glue from Walmart, and I made this. It's 10 and 10, man.
Well, you know there are people that do that. If it has just a plain white patch, they'll go get some.
You know, I didn't actually even hear this until
I saw somebody do it.
Until Ontario. I didn't hear this. I was like, "Are you serious? They're doing this? Yeah, they're doing this.
Of course, they'll do anything to make a buck. This hobby has some real degenerates in it.
Well, they stay up late at night and they look at cards.
Right. Oh, how about a Dr. Beckett card?
Okay. Hey, John, here's a 75 Kareem. First Lakers card in an 8.
I love that card.
I got an 8. They actually gave me some love.
I have a near set of that too.
Oh, yeah. Great set. Dr. J.
The Dr. J in there is fabulous.
Working Dan Issel over yet again, as always.
I believe it or not, I mean, I don't show them a lot, but I have from like the late 60s on, I have near sets of every basketball set, every football set, every baseball set. I either have near or complete sets. But seriously, like from then on. And baseball, I mean, I have near sets of so many. Like especially from like 53 on.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of like some like the W572 I work on, the T207 I work on, T205.
Oh, yeah, it's so tough to like do that shit.
There's only 2 people on the planet that have more cards than me. One of them is in the chat, Mr. Fourleaf, and the other is a guy named Boomslag.
Boomslang.
Who buys he has a warehouse filled with junk wax.
Well, that's not bad these days.
No, it isn't.
Boomslang, buried alive. Hey, John, I'm going to have to eat dinner.
Yeah, I got to go.
I'm like Rick. I'm going to have to eat dinner.
I'm operating on fumes now.
Yeah, you got fumes? I thought I had a George Brett mini.
Let me show something good before I let you go, though.
What's that?
Let me show something good before I...
Nice Sandy Koufax Venny.
Oh, I have a cool card here. No. I have to apologize because it's a 9, so nobody judge me. But
too late to apologize.
This is the Euchrome Bauman X refractor of Caitlin Clark. It's such a cool card.
I bet that's worth like more than the Bob Feller I'm looking at.
It's such a cool card.
Is that a rookie card?
Well, it's when she was in college. So.
It's a pre-rookie.
It's a pre-rookie.
Oh, here's what I bought off Prestige
Oh,
last year at the National. Sanahara
oh nice. I
Hey,
should be
Karen.
Japanese cards.
in a 7. Second card they're on together. Second highest graded.
Nice.
Just because I like Hank Aaron. And Sanahara.
I built up quite the Japanese card collection during the COVID boom because I
Oh, I
didn't want to
bet.
pay those prices. So I started buying Japanese cards for cheap.
Nice. Good job.
And I got to learn about the players and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, we were doing some research with Hardball Crazy, Derek, and I had this Menko card I brought, and it's a 70s card. And I said, it looks like 70s. And he's like, yeah, this is one of the best pitchers in Japanese history.
Four Leaf, he says I'm approaching 1 million cards, but that's not even close to boom slang.
Yeah, he's got Boom Slang has him in the rearview mirror by like 15, 20 miles.
Yeah, I always thought I had a card problem until I saw boom slang.
Well, there's always a bigger fish in the sea.
Right. There's always a bigger addict, a bigger hoarder.
Okay, well, let's let people go tonight. And
Yeah. Is anybody
move
still
on.
watching?
What's that?
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. This was a long one. Next time I'll break out more cards.
Yeah, we'll have to work on it. We'll have to prep.
We'll have to go back and forth. We'll play like war with cards or something.
Yeah, we're not going to do.
Hey, how about the match game?
Yeah, we could do.
We can't do that. I have too many boxes to go through.
You do, but we'll make something fair. Kind of.
I could pull a picture of it up on my Facebook page and show it.
The Facebook
Oh,
doesn't.
price drop alert. What is it? Wemby red cracked ice. Oh man, I want that card.
Yeah, you better like go.
I love that card. Isn't it a cool card?
I don't know, man. I guess it is.
All right, George. Thanks
All
for
right. Hey,
thanks for
John.
hanging
Thank
out.
you.
All right, guys. We got to go. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.